Greetings, salutations, and other big words. My name's Ethan. My handle is Wrangler. Welcome to Frequency Studios, weekly Wing It number 117 here on Rumble and YouTube on
Oh
the
my
17th.
God. That's like half your age.
No, not quite. Getting there, but not quite.
And
But
that's like,
starting it off with us tonight is Billy Bobsack.
Couple.
And also
Yes,
joining
friend.
us, Hugs from Space. It is
The
James Esparza.
invasion has begun. The pugs are landing on Mars now, so that way we can get our forwarding operating base set up for full invasion.
so are you working with Elon?
No, he wishes. He stole our technology during a gigantic IP deal gone wrong, set us back 8 years in the courts. That's
Is
a crafty one.
why the cars like randomly explode or hit people?
Yes. That was not pug technology. It was stolen technology that was not converted appropriately.
Where
Hell!
did they steal it from?
They stole
No,
it from
I love you. I had to go be here because, first of all,
our...
my husband's not here. So I'm sneaking in. What? No. No, actually, he's at church. And I was like, oh, wait, I'm sitting here and like, look at you with your little faces. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to sort of crash. Are you okay with that? Are you all right with that?
Well, we're gonna have to sacrifice you to the gods and stuff, you know.
All right, go ahead.
Gods.
I deserve it, Billy Bobsack. I deserve it. I haven't been on here forever.
The more the merrier.
All right, good. Hi, James. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing well. We're all doing well.
Oh, I love your pug is so cute.
Yes, I'm the space pug today.
I know, but I'm used to your sandwich.
Yeah, sandwich is, that's our Tuesday stream avatar.
Hold up. Pull out the Pizza the Hut.
No, I already
Oh,
put it
God,
away.
that's so
Pull out the Pizza the Hut.
It's
Well,
so
while he's pulling
disgusting,
out the
Billy
Pizza the
Bobsack.
Hut, Maji stopped in the chat early. She said, "Hey, sadly I will be working, but have guys remember you are all amazing." I think she meant to say have a good one or great show or something like that.
Have
Listen,
guys.
Jane,
No,
you must
she's-
bring out the Pizza the Hut. You must scar people.
All right, give me a moment. I need to...
That
Maji,
is,
you got to run all your posts by King Bob before posting.
yeah. Where is King Bob?
Frederick is
Hi,
in the chat. He says, "Hello, friends. I'll join you later, but I'm listening in the chat for now.
Yay.
Glad to hear you're hanging out and you'll be listening. So that way he's going to keep track of every dumb thing we say. So when
Oh
he
my
pops in,
gosh.
he can throw it back in our faces.
Uh-huh.
Pizza the Hut.
Oh, that's so
Just
disgusting.
throw it in our faces
Arf,
like
arf.
that.
Pizza the Pug Hut. At your service.
That's a little cuter than the ordinary Pizza the Hut. Pizza the Hut is the most disgusting thing I've
Yeah,
ever
but
seen in
yeah.
my
Don't
life.
talk shit about Pizza the Hut. That's rude.
Dude, that was,
Anyways,
Respect the stuffed crust.
yeah.
I nearly got turned from Pizza Forever by the original when you're watching Spaceballs, like they're just like the pepperonis are just dripping off. And I was like, dude, that is absolutely the most horrifying thing. I've seen bodies, I mean, in real life that have been left for a week that were less disgusting than the Pizza the Hut from Spaceballs. I'm serious as a heart attack. And I'm like,
Well,
but I'm
space is going to
cool
be
with
the
the
theme
pug.
tonight, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm cool with the pug. Actually, he's a little cuter, sort of a Pizza the Pug Hut. I don't know, pug.
Arf, arf.
Give one to Billy Bobsack. He's got a stripper on there right now. Make him a thing.
That's right. A stripper.
Guess what? Where is that from? What is that?
That's.
That.
Let me see if I can
That
remember
is a
the name
character
properly.
that I'm writing a story on.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought it was actually from Duke Nukem or something ridiculous.
No.
It has a Duke Nukem vibe to it. So congratulations, because I would play the heck out of that if you. Okay, I've got to read your story now.
Matter of fact, Umbrella
What?
Cat is the one who did the art commission for it.
Who did it?
Umbrella.
Really? It looks good. Okay, I say that this is allowable now because Umbrella did it. So I will allow your stripper based
Well,
on the fact that
listen. This was commissioned all the way back in like September.
really.
It finished like in October.
Dude, what? That's awesome. Actually, it is cute. He did a good job. It's not
It's
not-
she.
Sorry, she did a good job. It's cute.
Otter's sister. Jesus.
Really? I did not know Umbrella was Otter's sister.
Well, now you know.
Why don't we have like a chart to show us who all the people are? Like all the
Like a
people.
genealogy.
Yeah, so I can like know who is who.
The Iron Age genealogy.
Yeah, really. What-
Yeah, so
and-
Space Pug.
Yeah.
We might be talking about one of your relatives shortly. And then a
oh,
little
Really?
bit later, when Otter comes in, we're gonna talk signs.
Ah, all right. Yes. I mean, that's a divisive movie. So I'll hold all my
We're
further
gonna
comments.
talk signs and shitty modern D&D.
Yep. After the space opera, we're going into fantasy. We'll be discussing
all right.
D&D.
I have
What
not
is it?
seen
Fifth
signs.
edition?
You what?
Is it the 5th edition that we're discussing?
It is the 2024 rule set.
No, we're not talking about those people.
But we are.
Okay, fine. Are you who's actually played it? Who's actually played that version?
No one.
Okay, fine. That's what I'm trying to say.
No one wants to play it.
It's disgusting. It's like it's worse than Pizza the Hut. It's an abomination unto the Lord, and it shall burn. That's the way I feel about it.
Listen, we're going to talk about it so we can praise Castles and Crusades more.
Thank you. I've heard so much about this thing, and I want to play it.
Oh, we're having a blast with Castles and
Are
Crusades.
you really? Dude, I need to get finished with my writing so I can come play games with you guys. I've still got to play Minecraft with Billy Bobsack. I haven't even got a chance to do that. My whole life is on
played
hold.
Minecraft in I don't know how many months.
Dude, I know. No, well, you've been writing. Now you know what happened to me. You've become an author and you have no time for anything else except staring into space and fantasizing about worlds that people haven't met yet. See? Isn't
Listen,
that
I'm a what do you call it? I procrastinate more than I write, you know.
Hey, that's called
Okay.
That's called world building. Shh, it's got a name. Use it.
Matter of fact,
Nope.
mostly what we've been
World
focusing on
building.
is our Castle and Crusade game where we've been building up an entire fucking like little tiny town. It's turning into a city.
Oh, really? Are y'all doing the whole building thing from the very beginning?
Hmm
Dude. What time are y'all
Yeah.
actually stream?
No, we don't stream it.
What's wrong with why? Why can't how am I supposed to enjoy your lives
Well, I mean, unless Christian wants to get canceled for his new character, I don't think we'll ever
Dude.
You ever watched Tropic Thunder?
I've seen clips. Oh, really? Are you kidding me? Did he go there?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm
He
so
went there.
I don't know whether to be proud or horrified. I guess we just both. I'm proud. I'm horrified. I don't know. It's like it's right in the middle somewhere. That's great. No, I love watching people play D&D, and it's so stupid but I don't have time right now because, like, dude, okay, first of all, like I'm older than dirt, and I don't have time. I have to get up and get moving every day. I actually have to like drink coffee just to stay alive. And so then by the time I get in, it's like, oh, okay, I want to go play stream stuff. But so I'm streaming with James like once a week, and then I have like Thursday nights is like D&QFE with Chester Busby and all them doing the fan art stuff. And so I'm like, other days of the week I'm just barely functional. It's like I just whisper into a cup, and just try to stay alive. And so every time somebody else is doing something like that, instead of me playing, I want to watch, or I want to just listen to other people play. It's so much fun to hear people argue for 30 minutes over a rule.
We don't
Hail
argue.
Fu Man Blue.
Really, to be fair, we're pretty good at it.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Do they have like a rule 0 or whatever it was for Castles and Crusades?
We just go
Forgive
by
my
whatever
ignorance.
Just-
What's rule 0?
geez, it was a rule that everybody hates so much that they just complain about it relentlessly. It was related, I think, to the third edition D&D, where they came out with like shoot, let me look it up. It's one of those things that when you say it out loud, people hate on each other for like the rest of their lives. And
You'd have to ask Otter. He knows more about the system.
okay, Otter will know everything.
Oh, he's a DM.
Where is he? Why is he not here? Did he find out I was coming and he hates me now and he doesn't want to talk to me anymore?
No, I think he might just be home. He usually shows up an hour into the
He's
show.
hunting clams.
Okay. Oh, all right. Okay, his clams. Okay, fine. Oh, here we go. Okay, rule 0. This is what it says on Brave with Leo. Okay, so it says, rule 0: Dungeons and Dragons. It gather. See, so it has it with let's see. Rule 0 allows the game master or players to modify the rules to ensure that fun and fair play for all participants.
No, we stick to the rules unless he house rules and tells us.
So, yeah, so like or does he actually even tell you? Does he just roll by on the screen pretending to roll?
No.
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 Really?
So,
Oh, really?
this is how Otter does it. He rolls in front of us. Everything.
Really?
Just rolls in front of us. There's no fudging,
Mhm.
no bullshit like that.
What a
Everything's
total
rolled.
fact.
We don't do any of that shit.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, so the one time that I DM'd, and it was because I was like, okay, so we had a module. It was actually like the Secrets of. It was actually called the Secrets of Al-Qud or something like that. It was back in the day when it was really cool to be like Middle Eastern and everything like that. It was like Al-Qaeda or whatever, and it had pyramids and cool stuff and everything. And so I'm just playing along because they said, okay, you know. It was like 1981 or something ridiculous. And they're like, okay, you do it, because they were bored and frankly, they were just like, they want to see if like, I could do it. I didn't have a clue as to what I was doing. I'm a horrible DM. So I would just like put the screen up and then make a noise like I was rolling, and I would just make junk up. And we had a great time. But afterwards I felt so bad. I didn't DM anymore because I could not keep up doing all of the rolls and everything like that. I learned that day I can't DM. I'm just not good at it.
Who I think would make an excellent DM?
Who dat?
Readout.
Yes, because he knows all the statistics. He like has a brain for math and.
I do not have a brain for math. No. Statistics, do I remember stats? Yes. Math, actually completing math? No.
Listen,
no.
Dean. Listen, you're supposed to like, escape reality with it.
Yeah.
Readout's character was just him. It was just in the story.
No. My character was not J.W. Booth.
Really?
It was. It was a whole
cool.
thing.
That was our. We done a one shot. It was like 5e.
What is he called? You're saying it's Booth and it's a one shot. What? I hope you got that.
There were layers to that joke.
I know there was. I got it. Nobody else did. We feel sad now. That's fine.
And he almost got murdered.
Oh,
by a
really?
Big-titted succubus thingy dragon.
Isn't that
mutation.
pretty much what's supposed to happen in every episode?
Thank you, Fu.
Yeah.
That's right.
Those are the only two demographics left that you're allowed to make fun of: Caucasians and Asians. In some circles, they're not considered even different. So, we could at least poke fun at each other.
That's right. Okay, Caucasians. There we go.
Caucasians, huh?
Yeah, it was like something special.
From the planet Kronos.
Kapla.
Asian.
That was the biggest dad joke I've heard in a while. Shame.
I'm sorry.
All right, have any of you guys seen the Lilo and Stitch trailer?
No, show us now.
Okay, I probably have to keep it muted for obvious reasons, but
Well, yeah. Okay,
we can at least take a look at it.
okay, I'm gonna take a look.
So we get to hang out in space for a few topics today.
Now, are they just retelling it?
From what I've gathered, yes.
Okay. But I like the
And
first.
so this trailer. I think Stitch looks awesome.
I mean, they've done a good job with Stitch. I like that. He doesn't look
I was
uncanny
afraid
valley.
he was going to look like Sonic from the original trailer.
Oh yeah, really?
I don't know. I just don't think.
And it comes
Lilo
back to my
is-
age-old problem with all these remakes. It just looks like the original. Okay, then just go rewatch the original.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Why retell it? Have a new one. Have something different. And I know they're trying to. I'm not sure what they're trying to prove by doing. Hey, we're going to do a live action. The animation was perfect. It was a great story. I loved the original. I don't know why
Because they're
we're
trying to bank on my nostalgia. That's why I grew up with Lilo and Stitch.
You are.
I'm not
Stitch.
going to see this shit.
You are Stitch. You are literally Stitch. I would put you in as you are. You are the
Stitch is my favorite Disney character.
Also, these type of animated shit like Lion King do not need to be live action.
They don't. And I just don't know why they keep doing it, but they
I
haven't.
didn't even go to see any of them.
Because it's to them they think it's a quick buck. It's easy. Why create something new when you can just bank off of already established shit that people like?
Jeez, I mean, it's nothing. I mean, I'm not trying to hate on it. I'm not trying to say, if somebody goes and sees it and they love it, that's great. But the original it's there. It's kind of like, how many remakes do we need? It isn't really updating the story. It's not, I love animation, and I prefer to see the animated series. Honestly, I mean, that's what that art is.
Oh, I agree. This does not need to be made.
Yeah, but Disney
I
doesn't
completely
do
agree with
2D
you on that.
animation anymore.
Mm.
Thank
Oh,
you.
But I am impressed considering what they've done with all their other live action remakes lately, how faithful it looks to the source material.
And that's the things that I said. I keep asking the question: why are they doing it? I know they're banking on it. I know that's part of what they're looking for. But when you've literally decimated your own art houses so much that you no longer have the ability to make animation, somebody posted the other day that live looking shots from Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, the original series or the original movie, and they were saying how much did they think it would take to redo this in today's version, doing it like they did it. And one of the animators said, we no longer have that ability. We don't know how. We couldn't do it.
Well, they do know
Let me
how.
tell
They
you
just don't wanna
exactly why
waste
they're
money on
making it.
They can get people to do an actual 2D animation. They're just
Oh,
they don't want to waste the money. If anything, what they should have done is just a 3D.
The 2D animation, I think a big portion of it is they just don't teach a lot of that anymore in the schools for
I
which they
prefer the 2D
Please.
animation myself.
in the schools that they're getting these individuals from, and they're replacing the old guard with these guys. At least they have. So we'll see what happens. But there's some 2D animators still out there, but it's definitely a dying art.
That is really sad.
Frederick.
Because
Yeah, I
3D
mean, to the point where
cheap,
if
that's why.
I had the opportunity to make my books into animated movies, I would want it to be
Oh,
that
yeah.
2D hand-drawn stuff. Not
That's because 3D is cheaper. That's why they all pivoted to it. Because
yeah.
go look up
it's
Despicable.
tough to
Go look
argue
up.
that.
Go look up the first Despicable Me's.
Oh yeah,
How much it cost to make versus how much they made. And
really.
they keep repeating that. That's why even
Yeah.
Pixar's starting to slacken shit because they
And it's
realize you
also,
don't actually have to put in that much effort.
It's also easier to animate as well, easier to fix issues. It's just economical on a lot of fronts.
Well, yeah, understood, but I'm just talking preference here. As far as monetary expedience, I get it, but sometimes there's preference for. Maybe it's just nostalgia. I don't know. There's certain something to it that just seems to be missing.
And it probably also costs more now because since it's kind of an art form that's more niche, so to say, they usually slap a premium on it at that point as well.
I think that
Yeah,
take
it's like
yourself.
trying to find someone to rebuild your carburetor. You're going to pay through the nose.
Yeah, for real. I think what we need to actually do is just say, take yourself out of the Disney mode for just a minute, though. If you want to look at art of animation and the flow that happens with it, that is different than digital. And I say this as a person that has listened to analog all my life on stereo and radio and records and things like that. Digital audio sounds different. Actually, we just switched over to digital radios, and the voices sound different. There is something different about it. There's something missing, a reverberation which is missing from digital media. And the same thing happens in digitized animation. There's something missing in the flow of it. If you go look at, if you haven't seen it, The Thief and the Cobbler, have any of you actually seen this?
I've never saw it, but I know
think
the story
I've heard
behind
of
it.
it, but I don't. But I'm not familiar.
You need to go watch it. Go look at it. Then look at the remastered release. I think it was a couple of years ago, actually. That was I think it's Thief and the Cobbler reimagined or something like that. You don't want to see the one that was where it was butchered and put together with a whole bunch of just torn apart pieces. It's almost better to see the original as it's released in all of its unfinished glory. Watch this. Look at the flow of the lines, the animation itself. And Frederick, Frederick may have seen it. When you're talking about hand-drawn versus digitized overlays, and it's one thing to just enhance your work. It's another thing to have a computer actually draw it for you. And we're seeing that more and more in CGI. We're seeing that the AI is actually taking over. It's doing the work for the animators, and that's why they're losing the ability to do this. The Thief and the Cobbler is probably the apex of a man's obsession with the art of animation. And in looking at it and how it rolls, it is absolutely mesmerizing. The story itself, that was part of the problem. Is that it didn't have the action perhaps that it needed to really translate into the story that they were looking for. And he kept working on it, and it kept going further and further down this rabbit hole of perfection. But the pieces and the parts on their own are absolutely glorious. And when you watch that, and if you go back and actually watch Snow White as it was when it was done with rotoscope, and how they used that to create this incredible frame rate that they have, you see what's missing. You recognize it, even if you can't put your finger on what it is. There is a perfection in it that transcends the digital medium. And I'm not sure, there's not really a word for this thing where you put your finger on it. There's a soul in it somewhere. And
yeah, so it's like I know what it is, but I have no idea how to define it.
So yeah, to take yourself out of that nostalgia feeling of it, say, oh, this is because I'm remembering it. Go watch The Thief and the Cobbler if you haven't watched it, to see the art of animation. Taking it away from the actual storyline, just the art of animation, and it will absolutely make you a believer of what it means to create an animated art.
Speaking on the audio side, because you mentioned it earlier, and we've been discussing audio, and this is one that I actually use to kind of, because people are actually kind of afraid of audio more than a lot of other things.
I am.
You can't physically see it, and it's all about the sound, and like, how do you approach that? One example I use to show you how approachable it is, one of the reasons you actually hear the difference between sound now and say like something you would hear on a vinyl or old school radio is because there was actually a layer of depth in the recording that was being lost in the old school vinyl, which would give it that sort of warm tone you hear on vinyl. That's actually a loss of sound, and technically considered lower quality to what we have now, but what quote unquote is considered higher quality. You can hear the sound difference, and it kind of is a way of me exposing to people, your ears are the perfect identifier of what sounds good. It's not about whether it's technically has more depth to it. It's whether or not it's pleasing to your ears or not, which is why I say you can approach sound or music or all this stuff. You may not be the best of the best to sort of wow and captivate the professionals out there who will be smug with their thousands of dollars worth of equipment that you need to even hear the sort of professional soundscape that they're working on. But you will please the crowd, and you will create a sound and a texture and a taste for an audience that sort of wants to hear it and wants to be engrafted by that old school radio sound. Because that is something that they would like. Old school radio, the way it sounds, they would never put on today's put out on today,
Oh
because
no,
it'd be
never.
a lesser quality, but still to this day it's being consumed in mass. So it shows you how much there's still a hunger for it out there. And
Does
even that-
anybody miss the transatlantic accent?
the transatlantic accent?
Actually, yes, I do.
A
I
lot of
miss
that
it.
was because of the recordings too. Like you have to speak at a very high accent sometimes in a microphone for it to be able to pick up appropriately.
Now, the transatlantic accent, a lot of people rag on it as it was saying that it was inauthentic. It was a real accent. It was actually learned from listening to other people speak it, usually in the Ivy League towers that they had for the universities, places like that. William F. Buckley is the perfect example of the transatlantic accent. And in fact, my son, who has autism, he was frequently mocked at school because he imitated a transatlantic accent because he watched old movies, and he chose it because it was clear and easy to understand. And even though he's from deep in the heart of Texas, and he does have a certain amount of Texas accent, especially if he starts mouthing off about something. But he chose it because he loved theater, and so he couldn't understand why people were so would listen to him and just say, "Why are you speaking like that? Why not? Why speak any language? Why speak any type of accent at all? If you're imitative of somebody, why not the transatlantic accent?" And actually, the transatlantic accent has its admirers and detractors. It is a bridge between the old world of this is what an educated person sounds like, and in the 60s of what we called the California accent or the no accent, which is something that I use. Let me see if I can get it going. It's something I use because I was taught to do that. If you were from Texas and you were outside the state of Texas, we moved a lot, and you had to make sure that people didn't want to try to kill you because you might be up north or something like that. So if I'm speaking, and I actually am on the phone, if I'm talking to someone, how are you doing? How may I help you? I would like to, answer the phone in a voice that sounds professional. How may I help you today? How may I do this? That's the no accent, and it doesn't have really any home per se. Well, the transatlantic accent was chosen because it was supposed to denote a higher education. And there were whole entire families from Boston and other places that had this going on for generations. So I think the saying that it's inauthentic would sort of be wrong to do that. And I've heard that a lot lately, that this was sort of a made up thing. It's not any more made up than any other accent that's being used in entertainment right now. And I kind of like it.
I thought that used to be the general American accent.
Oh, the transatlantic?
Yeah.
It was considered the no accent, like I said, took over probably in the 1960s and 1970s because it sounded more Midwestern. But the transatlantic accent, if you listen to the original Broadway recordings, any Broadway recording from the 1930s or 40s, almost always you'll hear the transatlantic accent. And that's probably why most people think of it as an American accent. But it's more Yankee. I think it was used primarily on the West Coast, on the East Coast. As you move further west, or people who were coming from the East Coast would use it and would obviously proudly display it because it denoted wealth and fame, or it would denote that you were a person who had received an education. But it was really more of an East Coast accent, I think, primarily from Mid-Atlantic, Boston, down towards New York, especially in the
Boston would be Park the Car.
Park the car. That's Boston. Boston. That's a Boston accent.
I'm in New England. I'm used to that stuff.
Can you do a Maine accent? Maine is hard for me.
No, I can't. I cannot do a proper Maine accent. Not even close. Which is weird. It's kind of like when Northerners look at the South, they'll see out from Texas over to Panhandle of Florida, Georgia, and they'll just call the whole thing the Southern accent when they're different, distinct accents from the areas. It's like that up here too. You think you drop the R and that's the whole thing, but it's a little different everywhere you go. Like I noticed, I I used to be more social than I am now, but I used to know people from all different areas of New England, and I could pick out at the time I could have picked out who was Vermont, who was Maine, who was New Hampshire.
Wow. There's that whole area up there. It's like it's become more homogenized, but there's still islands of those accents out there. And there are several YouTube channels you can go to and listen to them, and they're just absolutely fascinating. The Downeaster, which is the Maine accent, and sort of that whole area up there. And the ones that are the hardest to find, but the lowlands, Carolinas, are actually real popular to listen to if you get a chance to listen to that. Just the unique sound of that. And I'm trying to think of some of the areas out in Georgia that you have that have that are down the coast. And any of those accents, if you can find them, they're fascinating.
And then you hear a Wisconsin accent, and you say, "Why, God, why?"
Oh, I love all accents. I think they're great. I
like the Dakota. I like the Dakota accents.
Oh, for crying in the mud! It's like something like I can't really do it. Oh, for crying in the mud! Would you look at that? I can't say that. That is there's like 3 syllables in every word when you're from Texas. That crowns. You have crowns. You don't have crayons.
Well, say teeth.
Don't you know?
Teeth. Don't you know? Wait, oh, dang! I can't do it right now. I'm so tuned in on where I am right now. I can't switch. Quick, say something, Billy Bob. Where are you from?
Hmm?
Where are you from?
Guess.
New York.
Exactly. You can hear it. So New York in my accent, yeah.
No, you're not. I don't know. Where are you from?
He's from the Bronx.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm
I was
wrong.
born in the Bronx, but grew up in Compton, all over state.
Straight out of Compton, are you, honey?
Mm-hmm. That's right. I am a New Yorker.
Aren't
No,
lucky?
but you got to guess.
I guessed.
Here's the thing. My southern accent's very distinct. Most people can pick it out.
Jeez. I don't know.
Mm-mm-mm.
It's not Alabama. It's not soft enough, I don't think.
No, it's not Alabama.
Cause Alabama. Okay, as you get towards
You know what? I'll give you a hint. It is in the Bible Belt.
It is in the Bible Belt. Shoot. I already
What
know.
I think is funny is Redoubt doesn't sound like he's from Pennsylvania for being a Yinzer.
Yeah, he's a Yinzer for real. Go ahead and say something. Read out.
Gins.
Here, I'll give you another hint. Me and Otter actually are from the same state.
Shoot, I don't know where Otter's
He's from the gay part of the state,
Oh, okay. Wait a minute. Now,
He doesn't use y'all. They use yins.
Are you a Florida man?
No, he's not from Florida.
Okay, you said gay, and
He lives in Florida, but
I think Otter should pay me royalties every time he says yins.
Yeah, he should. I do not understand why that part of the state uses that. It doesn't make no sense.
Yins.
That's probably why Redoubt doesn't sound like your Pennsylvania accent to me. I'm used
But
to
then
people
again,
from like the Lancaster area.
All the dumb
I'm not from
SJW
that
woke
part.
people need to stop using the word y'all. They use it incorrectly. It's not a fucking non-gendered word.
It's what? Okay,
It's not a singular. It's a plural.
it's a
All
plural.
right, I've
It's
sometimes
y'all.
used y'all my whole life. I'm not going to stop now.
It's y'all, all y'all. It's y'all, all y'all, and y'all are gonna make me crazy. Do you y'aller, Billy Bob?
No.
You do not y'aller. Okay.
You left one out. I know it's real because Jeff Foxworthy mentioned it in one of his stand-up.
Here, I'll give another thing.
which is
we
y'all
use-
plus 3.
We use Coke, not pop, and not
You've
soda.
got to be Georgia then.
No.
No.
I thought Georgia is where they all like to call it pop.
Yeah, they call it.
Yeah, I'll give you another hint.
Fine.
The 2 states you just mentioned are connected to my state.
Dang it. Okay. Shoot. It's not Alabama. It's not Florida. It's not Georgia. So it's got to be north of there. So it's South Carolina.
No. I'll give you another hint.
Dang it.
We're the only other ones who
forward.
actually have a certain type of whiskey.
Oh, Kentucky.
Nope.
Tennessee.
Other one.
Tennessee, fine. I'm not even looking at a map. I'm just hollering out names at this point. Okay, so Tennessee. Are you from Tennessee, honey?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, that's it. You sound more northern to me because you've got.
Also, hold up.
Wait.
How Kentucky and Georgia are not even connected, or not Kentucky.
What?
Georgia and Alabama aren't even connected to fucking Kentucky.
No,
Like,
I know. I'm
Kentucky is
sorry.
connected to Tennessee. We have like 7 states connected to us.
Dude, y'all are like, yeah, you're squeezed right in there.
You're
so.
like a hub.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, Tennessee actually is a hub. It's got all kinds of stuff. It's a fascinating state. I need to go to Memphis, and I don't know how to.
Because when you control Chattanooga, then you can rain holy terror on Georgia,
For real,
as Sherman 100% portrayed in
Correct.
1864.
I would. That's that. See, when you speak that way, that just makes me love you so much.
I forgot which
Frederick
one
is
was
correct.
Johnsonville, the one that got flooded.
Well, Frederick, I didn't have a map in front of me. For goodness sakes, I'm sitting here looking at my brain, thinking, okay, I've got all these states.
Are we going to have to pull up the Animaniacs thing? The
Yes,
U.S.
Yes.
states?
yes, absolutely.
U.S. states, capitals, countries, which they keep updating every few years.
I know.
Didn't they actually at one point do they did every country in the world?
Yes, they did.
Yeah, and they keep updating it every few years.
Wow, that's got to be exhausting.
We don't need to know every bumfuck country in the world. You know, they're kind of useless.
Now tell them to do one with all the South American tribes that are still uncontacted.
Oh yeah.
Good luck
I-
making those words rhyme.
I
But then
know.
again, Frederick, can you name me all 50 states?
True. We're waiting on you, Frederick. Come on, say it.
Can you name all 7 Uncanny Valley dwarves?
That's
Hold
right.
Can you name all 50 states in their capitals, in which we
Oh,
all had to
God.
fucking learn in school?
Yeah, we all had to learn that.
When I was a kid, I could recite it. Then I got out of school and never thought of it again.
You know what's really funny? So
I never learned that at school.
in my class, this was like 3rd grade or whatever. They were doing the 50 states and its capitals. However, in the back room, on the back of the wall, was the actual fucking map with it. And I went, you know what? I could either do this honestly, or I can just cheat, you know. And I,
We call that industry in
Yeah.
the education field. If you cheat, it's not a bad thing. It's industry.
But
You
here's
thought
the
outside
thing.
the box.
I
Well,
was the only one.
percentage-
I was the only one who figured it out. And then
Really?
everyone else figured it out like way later on, to the point where the teacher fucking noticed, and then. had
Oh,
to-
really?
But at that point, I actually fucking learned everything, so it was no problem.
Well, I do okay as far as I got Kentucky. I got it wrong because I flip flop. I have a hard time flip flopping Tennessee and Kentucky. You got Tennessee's underneath Kentucky, right? So I got that part, and I got South Carolina. I got all those other states right, so nobody needs to give me a bad time. But but when I get up towards New England, getting all of them sorted out is harder for me. If I look at them individually, I can tell you that's Delaware, that's Maryland, that's Rhode
yeah,
Island.
that's because they try to consider what is it? What's the little tiny one?
You were the
Rhode
original
Rhode Island.
Rhode
Yeah,
Island.
Rhode Island.
That's Connecticut's Siamese twin.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
like,
Whenever
we're
you hear
really
me
gonna
drop ours, it's more that kind of accent than in the other New England ones because I spent so much time down near the Rhode Island border.
Oh yeah,
But it's like, are we really gonna consider that a state to remember? It's like fucking tiny.
yeah. What's the state? Is it because
Nathaniel Green would
Jimmy guy
make the
put it on the
difference.
map.
we love Rhode Island and Texas because we say that Texas is as big as 220 Rhode Islands or something like that or whatever. No, it's bigger than that. There's like 220 counties in Texas. There's like just tons of counties, and so we have all of these different counties, and each one of them is bigger than Rhode Island. And so it's
I
like,
can't keep track of the 8 I have here in Connecticut.
dude, I have to try to keep track.
Also, the whiskey should have tipped you off because Tennessee's the only one who has actual
Jack
Tennessee
Daniels.
Yeah, I know. I'm
Tennessee
sorry.
whiskey.
I don't drink.
which is a
Tennessee.
certain mash. It's not really that
That's
much
true.
different from other whiskey.
Bourbon.
Which, by
Well,
the
yeah,
way,
you
fun fact: Jack Daniels is it's in a dry county. is where.
Is I know. I heard
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is an odd thing, but yeah, that
Would you-
still is dry.
Yeah, it's still dry. The
Oh.
funniest part about it's always been dry county. The funniest part about that is my mother. That's how we found out. My mother and my grandmother went down there, right?
Uh-huh.
And they were like, "Oh, it's a dry county, so they can't sell you any of the shit there. So if you want to buy a bottle from there, they have to empty it out in front of you and then get it."
Yeah. Now, you know what? When you were talking that way, now I heard you as a Tennessean. It was just really weird because I was thinking, was there something about as you move north of the Mason, as you go towards the Mason-Dixon line, and that accent starts to flatten out a little bit? I don't know how to describe it. It's less when you go to Alabama, there's kind of this sort of little soft, so that sway in the song of the way it sounds. And as you go towards,
that's all the incest, you know.
no, it is not. Quit. And then you go up towards, as you get further north, as you go towards South Carolina, it starts to become a flatter accent. I don't know how to describe it. It's more forward in the mouth. It's like you can hear it out. If you put your hand up to your mouth and you actually talk into it, the Southern accent's very soft. You don't feel your. I actually did this because I would do this with my children who are deaf, and would put my hand in front of their mouth so they could feel me talking, pushing the words out. And the Southern soft accent has a very light breath. And as you get the harder accents or the flatter accents, you can actually feel that sound hitting your hand if you hold your hand up to your mouth. And that's what I'm hearing now when you're starting to talk. I was like, oh, well, now I can hear Tennessee in it. It took me.
Man, you're gonna have a lot of trouble if you have to listen to Cajun then.
Dude, awesome. Cajun is
Or
awesome.
You
Appalachian.
gotta listen close to pick up on that.
It is, but you can get used to it, to be honest.
You know what always made me feel like the biggest moron. I've met a lot of folks from Jamaica, and when they're full going in their accent, I cannot understand anything they're saying, but they can understand me just fine. Kind of frustrating. I feel like the biggest idiot is like, we're speaking
Well,
the
they're
same language. I
speaking-
should be able to understand it.
Yeah, but they're also kind of speaking Rastafarian and shit.
It's called
in it.
broken English, I think they call
Yeah.
it.
It's Rastafarian. That's what they're speaking. I got used to that from GTA 4 because one of the characters is Lil Jacob,
Oh, really?
who speaks nothing but Rastafarian. The funny part in that game is even the character that you're playing, Nico, cannot
Yeah.
understand him at the beginning of the fucking game, barely as well.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then towards the end of the game, even Nico understands everything he's saying at the point. Just got
Yeah.
used to it.
Now, one guy I worked with, heavy Jamaican accent, and I like the guy, but half the time it's like, slow down, I can't understand you. But then it get to a point where I could understand him well. Then he'd go on vacation back home in Jamaica for a couple of weeks, get back to work, and all of a sudden that accent's full blown on thick again. I'm like, dude, you've been living in New England for over 10 years. You should be saying "Pak the Ka" by now. But one of the things I learned was instead of his, they'll say him, and then they drop the H in pretty much all words. So when somebody on the job was trying to say, go get his hammer, I would hear, go get him mama. I'm like, what? Go get him mama. I'm like,
Really?
I don't know.
No, that's freaking fantastic. Okay. Listening to you talk about New England accents makes me want to go to New England. And as a
Don't do it
tech,
in winter.
okay, so where would I go if I had one chance? Like I just escape Texas just for a moment, and I wander north.
Well, if
Where
you
should
have the capital, because it's kind of expensive, but the best place I could point you to would be Mystic Seaport.
Really?
Yeah.
It's like why? What is the apex? Is it the apex of New Englandry?
Well, one thing you got, you're gonna have some great seafood restaurants there. Again, it is a tourist trap area, so prices are kind of overblown. They got the tall ships, they got the museums, they got the aquarium there, Mystic Village, which, well, that's probably not all that too different from the malls these days, unfortunately. I don't know. It might be making a bounce back. I hope it is. Mystic Village is like For the longest time, it was like the coolest place with all these small little independent shops in an old New England town. What's funny is if you saw the movie Avengers Endgame, when they went to New Asgard, I started laughing because it looked like they shot it in Mystic Village when they were in that town, that fishing town. But
Really,
yeah,
the place that I've
you'll not find a place with better lobster. I mean, New England, you'll get the better lobster. Maine's got that down. They're the best at the lobster.
You know what you
The
should
clam
do?
chowder is awesome.
You know what you should do, Jim? RH Snow. You should go
What?
to New England and then get what was it? Pineapple in your clam chowder.
What? Are they going to murder me? Is that what's going to happen?
I won't care.
You won't care. Somebody else.
He
started
says
it.
he won't care, but we know he will care.
Was it so? This is like an.
If that's how someone enjoys their clam chowder, then let them enjoy their clam chowder as long as they're enjoying clam chowder.
I mean, but why would you put fruit in clam?
Why do people put fruit on pizza?
I mean,
I don't understand that either.
I would suggest
the
putting
Hawaiians did it in the ancient times. That's why.
The ancient,
Hawaiians.
times.
The Hawaiians.
They traveled to Rome. and
It's
went-
named
Fine.
after them.
James, what do you mean by ancient times?
You know, like a long time ago.
How long are we talking?
Like long enough for it to be ancient.
like
Clearly, that's why I
the
said ancient.
1980s.
Yes,
Come
in the
on, James.
1980s.
No, way before that. There was like cave paintings and stuff.
Oh, so the 70s.
Yes. Closer to the 70s.
That's
They had cave
hard.
paintings, LSD, and
That's hard.
pineapple.
It was all there.
Here's a cave painting of a man wearing bell-bottom pants.
That's right. And it smelled like wine and cigarettes in there. And that's how you know it was the 70s.
And they got a couch.
I
That's gonna
think
count.
cigarettes were at their peak in the 80s.
Oh no! You missed it. I was there. I was actually the 60s and the 70s were an absolute cloud of tobacco haze
Wow.
everywhere you went. Every restaurant, every movie, the only place where people didn't just light one up was like in church in the middle of the sermon. But they might go out front, smoke.
I remember when I used to be able to smoke in a grocery store, nobody batted an eye.
Yeah, dude.
Go
it
ahead,
was
try that
crazy.
now.
Yeah,
Not going to go over well.
dude.
Well, they
it
can't
was,
allow it anymore. It's actually illegal.
It was the early 90s, the whole state.
Like that. That's why you can't even
smoke in
smoke in
stereo.
bars anymore. It's not because they won't allow it or the.
Bar
people don't
There are
allow
some bars that'll still allow smoking.
Yeah, it's like if you do like a cigar bar or something.
You got to
Yeah,
you
yeah.
got to do it as a
A bar
private club in order to
About
get
a
away with
dozen miles
smoking.
from where I live, smoking's still allowed in it. But they don't
Oh.
serve food. That's the key thing.
Well, for a while, I used to go down south and come back up a lot, and they did away with ashtrays in restaurants up here in Connecticut.
Oh, really?
They had just done that. A couple weeks later, I went to the south, and I found out, oh, okay, I can smoke in the restaurant. And then I get back up here where I'm not allowed to anymore without thinking, light up in a restaurant, and everybody just wants to beat
Go
my
crazy.
ass for some reason.
Your poison ain't our. But all that other stuff's not.
No, really?
Don't worry. Have your toothpaste with what is it? Starts with
Fluoride.
F. Yeah, fluoride. Just like
Frederick,
chemical
that was actually a
highways.
billboard around here for a while. There was a billboard for Winston said, "At least you could still smoke in your car." I would look at that billboard and say, "For now."
Yeah, really.
Well, I mean, they almost no car comes with ashtrays anymore.
Or with those
Or
lighters.
cigarette lighters.
Yeah,
Now
those,
they're power ports.
yeah, you could like take that.
Some
you
of them still have it. If I
really?
remember correctly. Yeah, some of them still sometimes have it because it still goes off of the Then they don't come with the actual lighter itself, but they'll still have the thing. As long
Yeah,
as you
you-
got one, you can use it.
A lot of folks plug their USB chargers into them. Yeah, you can go to AutoZone or something like that. Get those push-in cigarette lighters. They usually fit in there.
You can use it to defend yourself. You just grab that and like slam it on somebody. If they tried to carjack you, you just burn your arm.
As was demonstrated in the first Deadpool movie.
Yeah, but that only lasts for like 4 seconds.
Dude, no, it burns.
And
No,
you-
it hurts. It's
Yeah,
savage.
yeah.
Actually
The
burns.
problem is you got to push it in and wait a good 10 seconds for it to be ready.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait, but yeah, when it gets going, it's beastly.
No, I get
Oh,
that. But the heat doesn't last as long as you think it would.
It doesn't have to. You just do it in the right place, and everything's all over. Just everything's a weapon if you think about it. That's all I'll say on this show because I don't want to go to, YouTube jail again, like I did the last time.
That's all I have to say about that.
All right, what was the
Yeah,
thing that got your
Slammed the
stream taken
cigarette
down?
lighter into the side of his neck and said,
Yes! Yes! Oh, let me taste your tears, Scott. Your tears are so yummy and sweet. Dude, I think it might be best for us to never piss Cartman off again. Good call. Oh, the tears of unfathomable sadness. Yummy.
Yeah, pretty much. What were you going to say, Billy Bob? Oh, you were asking about what the last time that I got what?
Oh yeah, you know what it was? Frequency.
Yeah,
that?
What immediately will get the stream taken down?
it needs more chrome.
If we even mention the name,
It needs more chrome. Every bike needs
"Oh,
more.
I don't
Yeah.
think that's a thing now."
you want to test
Are
it
you-
out?
You talking about Eric Charmella?
The what?
Eric
No.
Charmella, is that the name?
No.
You couldn't say
Chrome.
that on the internet back in the day.
Chrome.
Yeah, everybody loves Chrome. Chrome is a Google app.
Yeah, it's like you need
You
an
need
ad. Like an
More
ad.
Chrome. You should add it. You need more Chrome. We're just taking chances here now, aren't we? We're just taking chances. They're gonna say,
You remember
I don't even know what
Stormcrow?
you're referencing.
Yeah.
Stormcrow got it pulled down. That one.
did he really? Did he get it pulled down too?
Yes, cause he brought it up, and it fucking YouTube, like that was one word that even the worst non-existent channel, so most of it doesn't apply to us. That
Yeah.
did.
Yeah. I got in trouble for that because I said something out, and
Oh, the slow on the uptake, it just clicked.
yeah, thank you. It was like we're trying to make sure
Like
we
that.
save you
just
from
clicked.
any possible harm.
It clicked like the Zippo, right? Just like that.
Yeah, it did. It was like nothing. Ding, got it. Yeah.
Good job. You're such a baby. You didn't even know. You're just such a child. Hi,
Oh, I
Fred.
think he
Hey,
remembered it was like the one
Hey,
thing that
how's it
actually
going?
got him put down, which was funny.
Welcome to the stream, Fred.
Yeah, I'm a bit late, but here I am.
Wrong camera, frequency, wrong camera.
Because you're so handsome. Look at his little face.
He figured
Well,
it
there
out. We're good.
The two layouts are right next to each other, so
They're gorgeous.
I've been going down a comic book journey myself lately. I have like a bunch of new comics I got to read.
Oh, nice.
Yes, I received a shipment of 6 comics, which are a mini series. It's a kind of like a hard-boiled detective mini series called Scars, written by Warren Ellis. And I haven't really read Warren Ellis before, but
I think he wrote Preacher, if I remember correctly.
okay.
Good.
So I read this one. The artwork is done by it's either Jacine Burrows or Jackin Burrows. Can't really tell you the name exactly, but the artwork is fantastic. I wasn't expecting it to be black and white, but it was, and it has this like gray shade to it that really punches up everything. And for most part, the artwork is just breathtaking, including some of the more brutal scenes because it is kind of hard boiled. But I gotta say, for the writing, I was let down. I was really let down by the writing. There's major pacing issues. There was consistency issues. There was that story wasn't tight enough because it's just 6 issues long and they're basic like 20 pages each. So you only have so much room for some good storytelling. and it just needed to be tighter. He spent like 8 pages on a discussion between two characters that didn't add much to the story. It didn't add any intrigue. It was just one character agreeing with the other, and then it's like end of comic book. It's just there's so much scenes throughout that I felt could have been really trimmed down or just straight up removed. And some of it felt like it starts off with like a murder happening, and then the body is found in the gruesome fashion. And I think the gruesome fashion was inappropriate for who the killer was at the end, because I think they wanted it to be kind of like shock value when they find the body. But then when they describe the killer, it's like there's just too much of a gap between the killer's crimes and how he committed the crime at hand, the way that they found the body and all that. It's like it just wasn't the MO just didn't fit the perp, if you get my drift. And that was just a lot of that throughout the comic. Like there was this magnificent scene. The entire second issue, in fact, let me down horrifically, because the first issue was good, and it was probably one of the more brutaler issues. But then the second issue comes into play. I'm reading it, and it's just pacing and bad writing. There's this sequence when your main character, the hard-boiled detective, is speaking to a pathologist's assistant in the morgue, and he's feet away from this body. And I guess the assistant he was a bit too callous in his work. So he literally punches the guy to the floor, and the assistant's on the floor. He's grabbing him by the collar, and he's about to punch him again. And the pathologist, who does not know this character, comes in to watch his assistant getting punched in the face, and he acts like this assistant deserves it, and this character is doing a good job.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
like, excuse me, what are you doing? He's like, oh, hi, I'm Detective so-and-so. He's like, oh, okay. Then they walk away, and then the pathologist calls his assistant an asshole. And mind you, during this entire exchange, in not a single panel of the artwork does the detective, whom the first time that the pathologist saw him was assaulting his assistant, pull out his badge and show any credentials whatsoever. Just takes his
Beat on
word
him.
for it. Yeah. When, like, if that's not bad enough, it goes straight into the next scene where they're just supposed to talk about the body. These two individuals never met before. And the pathologist gives a quick, brief summary of how they found the body, and then goes into how much their job sucks and how, usually we find them like this, and they always have a bullet in their hand, because that's what they do. They put their hand out right before they get shot. Oh, I need to go outside. Excuse me. And it's like, you just met, and you're like wearing your heart on your shoulder to this detective. And then they go outside, and this pathologist completely breaks down, talks about how they want to have a kid but can't because the city is so horrible, and how life is so, crime ridden, to a person they literally just met 5 minutes ago, where their first interaction was that person assaulting their assistant.
That sounds like a natural interaction.
And
So it's a comedy, basically.
honestly, dude, this is my first interaction with Warren Ellis as a writer, and I was not impressed. Let's put it that way. It does not get much better throughout. That's issue number 2. The artwork, fantastic. It's actually quite fantastic. I'll probably show some off tomorrow on Proof of Comics, because it's good. The artwork's good. The cover work's good. The writing is sloppy.
That almost sounds like it could be a scene from The Naked Gun.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, it probably can, but it's all played straight. And of course, if you're not really like giving it any critical thought, you probably just go along with it. But that has been multiple times. This, like, another time, same detective is talking to another detective in a completely different precinct than his own. And that other detective is also not sensitive enough to the case. So he punches that detective in a foreign precinct in the face. And he punches him again. And it just calls him names. And then, like, it's cut. He's outside with his partner walking out. I'm like, no, you're not leaving that precinct, guy.
Okay, so I want to correct something. He's not the writer for the Preacher series. That's Garth Ennis.
Oh,
Garth Ennis, okay. Well, I'll read some of Garth's stuff later.
Yeah,
Warren,
Garth,
kind of let me down.
Preacher is kind of a bingeable series. It's you get into it and it has that Breaking Bad feeling where you finish one
Okay,
tome and you're
nice.
like, I
Yeah.
gotta grab the next one.
That's good. That's kind of stuff that you want. And also another thing for anyone writing detective stuff, right? This is one of the probably one of the things you should never do in 1,000 years. It only had a single suspect, just one. So guess who was who did it at the end? The only suspect. So there you go.
Well,
Which once again did not fit the MO.
Well, that's the whole thing. Is we have fantastic artists who sometimes they aren't writers, but they're fantastic comic artists, and almost all of them will try at some point their hand at creating their own comic. And it's not for everybody. I mean, it's most of the time you have a team working on a comic.
I feel
Really?
personally attacked right now.
No, you should not.
That's
because
right,
you have
Frederick. You
fantastic-
ain't ready, boy. You ain't ready.
I did.
I hope your story is tight because I'm gonna judge the hell out of it.
Yeah, no, Brett Frederick's going to be fine because there are a few out there who actually do all the work. They do everything, even the lettering, which to me is hard. But a lot of people do their own.
No,
lettering.
we're gonna destroy his dreams.
No, you're
being a
not.
comic artist.
But that it is a
we're gonna
rare.
make him cry.
No, you're
in
not.
Canada.
I will throw myself in front of him and take the bullet because I love Frederick. Look at his work; it's incredible. But yeah, it is a rarity to have a fantastic artist who's also a fantastic writer, and when they do well, when they write it and create the art and do the lettering and market it, you're looking at a high level of artistry and writing and everything else. It's incredible to do that. And I think we have a tendency to kind of be harsh on our artists because they all want to try their hand at it. But most comic artists are artists, and first and foremost. And that's what they do. And so it's not the same as writing that story, especially panel by panel.
Don't worry, Frederick. We're gonna make you cry after we review it.
You're not, because you're going to love what he's doing. I've seen it. All these panels are
Yeah.
absolute gold.
I'm sure the work is great. I'll be very judgmental. Of the
No,
story.
no, I'm gonna be extra judgmental.
And I just finished the lettering today.
Okay,
Like,
so
Really?
just
My
this
ride is
afternoon.
here.
And beep beep.
Oh my God, it's butt sauce.
So I just finished the lettering and quote unquote the scripting. I just got to do a couple of rereads and make sure everything flows nice, and then I'll send it off to my beta readers. Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Now everything I've seen on your panels and everything else, it has flow, and I think that's actually, I couldn't probably write a comic. I would love to make Watcher the Dam into a comic. I wouldn't be able to write it because I don't know how to plot the panels. And I think that's probably one of the harder things. It's like scripting a movie, but it's frozen frame by frame.
Yeah, I did an adaptation from a movie script once, and it's a lot of fun.
Wrangler Hunter P. Herman's
It
Herman
should be,
Hunter's
the
blog.
link should be in his DMs now.
DM. You know what? Actually, the story, what I really didn't like, I'm just giving away the ending. It's not even gonna read it. It's great.
Oh, it's not
like-
mine, is-
They really just set up the killer to be way too brutal for who it was. At the end, it was a PED, a MAP, minor attracted
Oh.
person. And check this. The only crime it ever said this person did, not saying that this is a small crime, was the PED stuff. But the way it went is like, well, he was a PED. And then they let him go to another school. And then he instantly graduated to kidnapping a girl, torturing her for 3 months, and then butchering her while she's still alive. And I think that's kind of like a drastic change, because a PED does not instantly equate to a brutal, serialistic murderer. I was like, I think you needed to add more to this guy's psyche if you want to unveil that. But it was just so sloppily done that I felt
What movie
bad
are
for
we
the
talking
art,
about?
because
Yeah,
it's a comic book called Scars.
yeah.
Written by
Hey,
Warren
did
Ellis.
you do the
written
AI
by-
thing for him to do the ping tuber, Herman? The hedge ping tuber?
Yes.
I forgot about that. I'll do it later.
Oh, you need to do it.
I mean, I got the hedge one. It's already done, but it just looked weird. I need to change it up more.
I mean, those eyes are pretty expressive in their own right.
They are.
It pretty much illustrates me to a T.
There you go. How you
So-
doing, Herman?
Actually, got some very good news.
Now,
I have this is officially my best month in sales since I started.
That's incredible.
Whoa, sweet sauce.
Awesome.
Best month.
So,
You
and
have-
it's still not over.
no, you have done fantastic. The
Yeah.
comment for your friend, you literally went in there and slayed. It made me so jealous because you got out there and you actually
Schley,
got on the-
queen, schley.
slay queen. No, you did well at BaseCon. When I saw you there, you interacted with everybody. You got it going on, but you have really just exploded on the con scene. And I think that's going to be, with that combined with your audiobook stuff, is going to be probably how you really start just burning the market down.
Yeah, well, if Audible ever puts my freaking audiobook up,
Yeah, well, I was just talking to James about mine because I'm like, I'm having to make decisions, y'all. And I'm like, okay, so can I actually do this? Can I actually read it? Can I actually do all that? And James, you and I were talking about it. And I'm like, I've got to make plans because once I start, it's a commitment. You know, it's like 9 to 12 books.
I'll help you every step of the way you need help.
like, let me explain to you what's going on with audiobooks right now.
Do it.
So, I submitted my audiobook to Audible
Uh-huh.
back in January 13th.
Wow.
It's still not on Audible. It is everywhere else but Audible.
Do you ever
And,
get the feeling they're trying to stop you from advancing?
no, I just think they walk around with their heads up their asses.
Well,
So
I'm serious when I say I had one of my greatest months ever. I told you about it. I made like 1,000 sales in
Yeah.
never saw one single page turn from it. Nothing. I still don't see K&E. I have people that will say, I got your book. And we don't see any page turns at all. It's like it's not registering. There's something out there. There's nobody to talk to. There's no one to say anything to. It's
well, and
literally like
here's the
streaming-
other thing. I just discovered I sold 4 books in Germany
Did
because
you?
I go through Ingram.
Uh-huh.
But they obviously they either weren't through Amazon or Amazon is not reporting it in the sales.
Yeah, it doesn't register.
Strange.
So I don't know where they'd buy them from, unless there's I don't know.
It's something's
So-
off.
Maybe a Polish website.
I've never seen a single page turn at all. But
Really?
then again, I don't think that's like if somebody buys the ebook and they're reading it on their own thing. I don't think that counts as page turns. I think that's for like if you put it in their some Kindle program where you just subscribed and you can read any book on there. Is that what the page turns are monitoring?
Yeah,
Okay,
Yeah.
I
have-
don't have it in that. I don't know how to. I gotta figure out how to put it in that.
Well, I put mine in there and it gave me nothing. And I'm actually
Well,
thinking of pulling it because of it,
you-
because there's
you-
nothing showed up.
you have to be Audible exclusive, or excuse me, not Audible exclusive. You have to be Amazon exclusive, that KDP, whatever it is, exclusive in order for you to get that.
Let me see.
Is it exclusive for just the ebook or all
Just the-
versions?
Yeah, just the ebook and
Just the ebook.
Yeah.
Okay, it's the only place I have my ebook, so why
Yeah.
not?
Yeah,
and-
you have to. You actually have to register for that on your account.
and see,
So I don't.
I had it was done actually for Book Barbarian, which was fantastic. It was like 1,000 units sold overnight. It was incredible, and I was like, "Holy cow! I'm going to get all these page turns." So I had pulled everything from, and they'd made one statement. They'd found it somewhere like on Barnes and Noble still. So my formatter went and she pulled it right away. Told them, "Hey, this is not there." Never saw anything from it, and it's like I guess people must have read it. I'm hopeful. But it's like I don't see any page turns, so I'm not going to get anything from it because it was a freebie, and that's great.
What's
you know,
a page turn?
a page turn is it'll register that you're on Kindle Unlimited, and they register it. So you move basically a free book, but it shows up on how many pages they will read on the Kindle, and that's how you get paid. So mine don't show up at all. It's not there on Transmutation Texas, which has been my biggest seller and we've got it's the hook that gets everybody else into the other series. So I was like, okay, I'll put it on Kindle Unlimited. They can get it for free. You know, they can put it on their device and read it. And it hasn't translated to a single page turn. I mean, maybe one, literally. And it's when you've sold over 1,000 units, you know, at this point, you know, 1,700, I think, close to it. It's like, how do you not have a page turn? So there's, you know, somebody has to have seen it. So there's something that's missing with KNEP. And I think you're right. Either they're saying that it's out there somewhere, but I've checked, you know, I looked, but in their system, it's still saying that we're not exclusive. So you're probably right, Herman. It's just not.
Yeah, you're not exclusive.
James found my book on a Polish site the other day. That was
It's really.
Yeah. Are you going through Ingram or are you?
Yeah, but I've never sold anything through Ingram. All my sales have been through Amazon that I'm aware of, anyway.
Well, hang on. Did you do both? Did you put your paperback up on both Ingram and Amazon, or only Ingram?
Both.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I only have paperbacks through Ingram. I couldn't. Ingram.
Oh, okay.
Agree with the size of my hardcover. Of the cover art for my hardcover, it didn't agree with the size, so it's only on Amazon for the hardcover.
Oh, okay. That's
the only thing you can get on Ingram is my soft covers.
Yeah, that's the reason why, is because your Ingram is worldwide, and regular bookstores will post it, but if you don't turn on returns, they won't actually restock it. That's not a bad thing, because I'm not going to pay for people buying my book and then paying the shipping for them to send it back and paying for the book as well. So
that's also it. You have the campaigns that have taken place, especially lately, where they will gang up on a Discord somewhere and say, we're going to take down this author. They'll go out and make a big purchase, or have several people on the Discord or the Reddit go in and actually purchase several copies, and then demand a return, saying that it's not good, review bomb it, and take the author down, because how do you afford that?
Well, here's the thing. That's the reason why you don't ever accept returns.
That's right.
Through
that's
Ingram,
why
period.
A lot of them. I just decided. I mean, I've approached a couple of bookstores, but you have to be able to take returns. And I'm like, you know what? I'll just do it online. I'll do it on my own site eventually. But yeah, I think you're right. You know more about this, man. I'm going to make you you need to be the guru. We need the hedge guru.
Yeah, but now getting back to the audiobook.
Yeah, go ahead.
Audible ACX is experiencing lengthy delays with titles becoming available on their storefront due to the quality assurance and metadata team at ACX is currently dealing with large volumes of submissions that have accumulated. Mind you, this was on March 5th. This is what I got. This is the response I got on March 5th. Now, at that time, my book was currently undergoing the audio quality review checks. Okay? My book is only 6 hours long.
Yeah. I mean...
And it's been, what is it? 10?
2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks?
Yes, it's 2 weeks. So, here's my question. You have to ask, isn't this a way to stop? Because there's big publishing has big reach, and we don't talk about it much. But we have bots. They have all of the farming that they do. That's a huge money laundering operation, and I wouldn't put it past them to do this to indie authors. Where just slow it down, because we don't see that happening to in quotes published authors from these big publishing houses. They put it out, and it all comes out the same day.
Yeah, they will put you. They will put these big, despite what they say, they're most likely putting these big publishers or even medium-sized publishers ahead in front of indies, because Audible has done that. Audible screws me in that I only get 25% of my royalty because I don't produce the volume that other people do. And this is on top of the fact that they jack up the price of my book.
But now look at some of these other, in quotes, published authors. They're out there with these publishing houses that are actually AI. And you and I have talked about this before. You have them suddenly show up, New York Times bestseller, blah, blah, blah. it's not even probably a real human at this point. We're having a problem with this. There's Audibles out for them. There's everything else. It hits the stores. As long as it's coming through a publishing house, it goes right up. And you have to ask why the indie authors and people that are creating their own, putting so much of their time and effort into this, aren't getting that same service from Amazon. And it boggles the mind that, considering how big the indie market is and how many real sales are actually occurring.
Well, that might be the reason there, maybe it's just too big. Maybe they're afraid of that sort of like saturation and inflation in the market.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have to ask, because it's the only reason that I'm doing Audible. I mean, first of all, I've seen Herman's incredible success with it. The fact that you've had this great, response to your Audible books, and so many people ask me, "Are you putting out an Audible? Are you putting out an Audible?" And I said we did, had actually pretty good success with the podcast, but it's just, considering the hurdles that we have to go through, it's kind of discouraging, because I'm like, wow, I'm going to put all this into it, and then I'm not going to be able to see it happen. It makes it kind of scary, and maybe that's what they're all hoping for.
Let's also say hi to the Lord Squatter.
Lord Squatter!
And as Squatter came in, Readout slipped out, but he left a parting word for everybody. He said, "Buy Herman's book. Good night."
Yay! What a guy!
Buy the book.
You need to buy the book. You know,
Hey,
you want
guys.
the book.
So,
You
Otter,
need that book.
Yes.
RH Snow's wants to know your opinion on Rule 0.
On Rule 0?
Mm-hmm.
What about it?
She just wants to know your opinion.
I don't know. I don't really have much of an opinion. If it works for you, it's great. I don't really use it myself.
See, he's a cool guy. He doesn't do.
Unless you take down a white stag.
Okay,
that's a bit of an extenuating circumstance. But
that's one case where I will use Rule 0, because it would have absolutely broken the game.
He would have broken it forever. He's been bragging on y'all's games.
Yeah, but that's because they put it in the rule book, something for like an expansion thing.
It wasn't just that; it was immunity to all physical, non-magical damage. I'm like, yeah, that would break the game completely.
Really?
Yeah, it was gonna be for one of the players if they, what was it? They basically poured the stag's blood on them. They would be immune to all non-magical physical damage. Like, they could not get hurt at all.
But that was supposed to be one of those things that 99% chance a player wouldn't have been able to do that.
Technically, but there's also traps. And it's like, not every trap is going to be magical. Not by a long shot.
Yeah. But by the way, Herman, sorry it took so long to get the link to you. I did it through the phone, and I didn't have my glasses on, small type font.
That's cool.
And I accidentally, I saw the lore, and I thought Forge, and sent the link off to the Lore Raider instead, and didn't realize it at first.
No, it's cool.
No, y'all have fun. I'm going to have to bail out on you guys. I'm so sorry, because Otter just got here, and Otter, I love you.
I love you too, RH Snow. Such a sweetheart.
Sweetie. No, you. I gotta go take care of some of my peoples over here. But I'm so glad to see your face. I love you. You be good. And
now give me fish.
No, I'll give you a fish. Here you go, fish. And go be awesome.
Thank you.
I didn't know your umbrella was your sister.
Yeah, that was a fun little factoid.
So
she's a great artist.
Yes, she is. You've been holding out on us. I'm gonna steal her from you or something. That's so funny.
She did your ping tube.
Yeah.
She did Billy's ping tube.
Mm-hmm.
Can I do it? Can I have a ping tube? I mean, can I have one?
It's pretty simple. I mean, if you want to reach out to her, I can put in a good word for you.
I want something, because there's days when I look like like warmed over garbage, and I just want to put up a ping tube and not deal. And James has a pug and a sandwich, and you guys have ping tubes that make you look cool and everything. And then
if you don't mind AI, I can make
Coming
you
as a hedge.
I can make
And
you
then the
Who
hedge.
says this is a ping tube? Are you implying this isn't the real deal?
No, it's a real deal.
If you don't mind AI, I could probably make you one for free.
Really do it.
I also have a derp face. Hold on.
Do a derp. Do a derp for me.
Just let me know what would you like.
I know, just love this pug talking that way. It's just cute.
Yeah.
So adorable.
You get used to it.
Oh,
There's the derp
look at
face.
your little face.
I'm being
Look at
derpy.
Derpy. That's so cute.
Do you have one where you're derp-eyed while lit up?
Yeah, I do. Let me see if I can bring up the PingTuber
Hold
platform
on.
real quick.
I got a little critique for Umbrella Cat there, because when you're derp facing, your eyes aren't like all brown and shiny like your normal.
Yeah, it's like they're cold and dead inside or something like that.
It's
Good
like,
to see you, Skunks. He
It's
said
almost like it
sandwich
was a
things
quick
is
edit
one
or
of them.
something.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
almost.
I will agree, Skunks. Yeah, Sandwich James is the ultimate. There is
Gives me
nothing
nightmares.
Final
worse.
forms.
I have not eaten a sandwich since seeing that.
Sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night, panting, cold sweat on my brow, and I just see in my mind's eye the sandwich talking to me.
Sandwiching tomorrow, James? Are you going to sandwich? For our show?
Yes. Almost every stream I go on, I got like a designated avatar. This is usually my my Monday avatars. Pug. Tomorrow is the sandwich, and then in the afternoon, I am the lizard lawyer.
Yes, so we're gonna have James as our main guest tomorrow on Poop Comics.
The lizard lawyer.
Really?
Yes,
That's
so
so
if
cool.
so if you want to like
Indeed.
give him hard questions and interrogate him, that'll be the day for that.
What time is that?
It's
That's
about
great.
a half hour after our stream.
Oh, it is. I just have to hop it afterwards.
James, you look like you're about to tell me how I can save 15% or more.
Yeah. Or no self snitching. That
Yeah.
that guy. So, no
Ironically,
self-
that's the line I thought of when Herman popped in here and said, "I have great news."
Howdy, har.
I
Oh,
love you
speaking-
guys. I gotta bail. I love
Okay.
you.
Bye
You're
bye.
good.
Night.
Bye, RH.
God bless
Have a
our
great night,
It's
RH.
nice to see
You're the
you.
best little babies ever. I love you.
Squeak, squeak.
Have a great night.
You too, babes.
We are babes.
Squeak.
I suppose.
So, more good news. It's looking like on Spotify, I may this year crack 10,000 minutes of listening.
Ooh, nice.
Nice.
Yes.
That is not
Spotify
insubstantial.
Spotify has been a tiny beacon of light in my entire sales journey because I have had consistent activity since let me take a look at this here. I've had consistent activity since what's that date? October 2023. Oh, maybe not so much October. No, okay, April 2024. At least twice a week I've had activity, and like this month I've already had I think 3 weeks worth of activity because they report weekly. So, getting back into audiobooks, this is another one that I think people should not overlook, and that is Spotify. Because when people have a premium bundle, they have access to all the audiobooks on there, and this is what I'm getting. And I get info from, or I get listeners from Australia, New Zealand, the U.S. and Great Britain. Like somebody in Great Britain is now listening to my audiobook. So, and they pay you based on the number of minutes they pay. It's probably not as much as the audiobook, but this is something that for a new author could get and build a readership. So if you're gonna do audiobooks, you might want to look at Spotify, which means you have to go through Findaway.
Great advice there. Definitely. I am looking at audio. Though I'll be honest, I'm not really looking to expand as much as generally create at this point. But
Yeah.
I'm going to remember that.
I'm gonna have to convert mine to audio soon. You think should I hire RFK to narrate?
Sure. People wouldn't forget it. I guarantee you that right now.
Nah, I'll stick with Bobcat Goldthwait.
No,
Yeah,
you should,
that's-
you should like resurrect Roy Dorchers to do it. You know?
And then
Yeah.
Haley, I'm rock.
I'd buy that audiobook for $1.
Oh shit!
I'd buy that for $1.
Thing is, if he was alive, I had the money to spend it, spare and shit. I would just do it.
You have a
Not as the
dollar.
official one, but just as the other one.
Wait, he's no longer with us?
Yeah, he's dead.
He's dead.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Why didn't nobody tell me?
And Steve Fortune has actually was in a couple of plays with him, if I remember correctly.
Really?
Yeah. So
That's
He was a
what
funny
started off as a
comedian.
joke turned into an odd little synchronicity.
yeah.
He was kicked off the Tonight Show for setting fire to the couch.
Pata.
Who,
Well,
Roy
then I'll go
Dorchers?
back to my original plan of resurrecting Sam Kinison and having him just shout the whole dang thing.
Ah! Ah! Ah!
Also, Billy, that was our game the other night. Pata, pata.
Pata. Wait, what was that? How's that relate?
Make me a little baby, pata.
Oh, that's fucking Blackwood.
Yeah.
Jesus. Pata.
I thought of it and it just made me chuckle to a certain degree.
Man, it's gonna be so sad. Like, I don't think we're ever gonna get Wins a Winner at this point. But if we did, we won't have him for the audiobook.
I mean, you could get AI to write you one.
Well, that's true.
Just feed it everything
Again,
up to it now.
Would it be as good as Roy Dorchers himself saying "Pata,
Yeah,
pata"?
tell
you
AI
can
to do
tell
our
AI to do it for
conclusion,
you.
but include Deadpool.
See, what you do is say, AI, finish the story, but add in the pata guy.
See, James is an expert with those prompts. You can tell.
No, wait. Have it write you a conclusion, but add in the soup Nazi from Seinfeld.
Oh, shit.
Make the soup Nazi a whole house.
A house of soup Nazis?
They ruined his life. His life.
House of Nazi for short,
No soup for you.
Did not see that coming.
All right, no one will have not seen that coming.
Oui, bonjour. Oui, oui.
So
They came out with a new demo of AI film today. Did you see that?
Which company?
So I don't know which company. I just saw the Twitter demo. So they could take a section of film that's already been made and give you give you an alternate camera angle / movement
Oh, I didn't know that.
with the same actor, the same background. So they had shots of Wonder Woman coming towards the camera, and then they tilt the camera upwards so you see her a
pan shot
from above, and they took all these.
Hold on. A panty shot, right?
Yes, a panty shot.
Yeah, that's what it's used for.
I know you can extend it, do stuff like that, and they also introduced what they call first frame, last frame. So basically, say you take two images and you say this is your first frame, and you say this is your last frame. Now generate 10-second video.
well, if you're gonna do that with Wonder Woman, at least do it right and make it the Linda Carter version.
Yeah, it's possible. I wouldn't doubt it. Somebody already did.
I mean, yeah, face swaps are kind of easy. I think face swaps have been done well. Not by Disney, but
Deepfake, that's called, right?
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, so they did it well with and this is not the Disney version, but when they brought back Luke Skywalker in Mando season 2, the fans took what Disney did and made it even better. And
I
they had,
remember that.
They had just a flawless young Mark Hamill cameo with.
Well, they did that with also Rogue One.
Right,
Rogue
the
One,
fans.
they had Grand Moff Tarkin in it, and of course the actor's fucking dead.
And Leia's horrible in that.
Oh, yeah.
I can't watch
So
that
bad.
movie.
Did you see how it should have ended of Rogue One, where Grand Moff Tarkin was sitting there talking away, and one of his guys, and he looks at one of his guys, he's like, "What?" And he goes, "We're just looking at your face. It looks a little CGI-y." And he goes, Jealous.
Remember when Disney promised that they weren't going to use a CGI Leia, and then they did it anyways?
I didn't know they made that promise.
They did. It was, during Last Jedi, they were like, well, she passed away, so we're not going to use the CGI. Immediately, fucking Rise of Skywalker, CGI Leia.
I can't believe a profit-oriented corporation with no accountability would do that.
Who? Completely Pikachu shot.
Led by socialists. But you know what? Since we are speaking of media, I found a excellent comic book find that I did not even know existed.
Oh, yeah?
Ja. If
Jaws?
you will, frequency.
Oh yeah, the Elric comics.
The Elric comics.
Oh, you got to mirror your camera there.
The
What's
funny
that?
part about this is I've been reading through the Elric pulps once again, just as you've been messaging me over Discord about these comics. The
Yeah.
timing couldn't have been better.
Definitely. I think the screen is a little dirty. Let me wipe this down just a tad bit, which usually cleans it up a bit because it looks like it
What
needs
have you
a
been doing
focus.
to your camera, James?
Yeah, are you?
I live
recording
in a
this for
desert.
news?
I live in a desert. Everything's covered in dust. But these are actually very freaking beautiful. This was actually the series I stopped reading Elric on. I was kind of reading them in order with Molybdenum, and I believe this was the third one. But the interior art, I believe these were released in the 80s, 85. It's actually quite fantastic in these. Let me tilt these a little bit to be a bit more evened out. The camera, unfortunately, is just a tad bit tilted.
I may actually have to start saying what a lot of Elric fans have been saying over the last several years. I'm starting to agree with them, is that Elric and Melniboné isn't actually the best place to start reading the Elric saga. It's the Dreaming City. That's the best place. Because that was the first Elric story that was published.
I can definitely say that there's a lot of goths out there today that absolutely love Elric and don't even know it yet.
Yeah, the thing about the Elric saga is like chronologically, the first few books, they're very slow. And it's like if you don't know Elric by the time it's at like the Dreaming City, it's going to seem very boring to you. Like there's cool stuff, but it's slow compared to the later stories that he's in. Like Dreaming City all the way to Stormbringer, he is like full on edgelord, and the stories are snappy and action packed.
Yeah, you definitely get that in the later stuff. The earlier ones, he does come off a little sissy-ish.
Yeah. In the later stories, he's just a step or two shy of being Guts. He's not.
He really is,
far.
isn't he?
Like some of the stuff I've read in the short stories, like I think I'm in the the Singing Tower right now. That one I'm like, holy shit! I didn't remember some of the stuff that Elric does. He is not a good person at all.
No way. Not a good place. And you know what's actually very interesting? I didn't notice about this cover because if I believe this one, it is the Seas of Fate, which is where he basically gets on a interdimensional boat with a bunch of other sort of. And what's cool about it is if you pay attention to the side here, every single other kind of hero mentioned has their own particular image on either side.
Nice.
And they have a sword, a particular sword. Each hilt is different that is made for that particular hero. Elric is right here. And they each have their own emblem as well. So this was made very much with love. And like the various covers are also.
Now, they do that on all books?
On all of these, yes. And every single day, I believe they have made most of the Elric stories into their own comic issues, and all the borders are made separately to fit that particular story.
Dude, whenever I read through...
Did they do that on yours?
Sorry, what was that, Wrangler?
Did they do that on the one that Frederick has?
No, I've got a French, totally different adaptation. And
That's the Julien Blondel version, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Julien Blondel, and the artist has the same name as my cat. So, Valentin.
And the good news about these was they're particularly affordable. It was like $30 for the entire for every single issue here. I think it's like 7 or 8 issues.
Dude, whenever I read through Sailor on the Seas of Fate for the first time, like you get to the end of book 1 in that little novella, my mind was spinning the first time I read through it.
Yes, it's very it's very wondrous and dark.
It gets acid trippy.
It does, and that's what I liked about the comic particularly is the colors really emphasize that. But
Speaking of ass,
Yeah, there's no colors in this one.
yeah,
So
but
disappointing.
I enjoyed it black and white.
The
there's
horses
like
are
3
really
or
well
4
drawn.
successive panels of it too.
And you know what? If you didn't know this was Elric, people would think that it was probably The Witcher.
Probably, yeah.
Uh,
That's
yeah.
a good
Yeah.
point.
I wouldn't know. Yeah.
I believe it was Razor who made the point that The Witcher may have been a knockoff of Elric.
The Witcher is far from the worst, though.
Yes, yeah, of course. There's a reason why people like it. It's
Like
actually good.
Drizzt, the various incarnations of Elric knockoffs and Warhammer.
I got into my reading in general through Drizzt stories.
Yeah, Drizzt has some minor differences, but the Society of the Drow, I'm convinced they're very much like
Holy shit,
derived from Melnibonéans.
This guy puts tape on his
The whole
panels,
Drow
man.
Society, I thought, was kind of what we turned into in recent years here.
Yeah, like, well, the whole inspiration for my Ograthian race is from Melniboné. It's like, hey, how about we just have Melniboné if they were a bit more light and airy and they liked birds more, and everything was a lot nicer to look at. Melniboné, everything's just dark and horrible.
And everyone's inbred.
So you knew who is Julien Blondel? Do you know him, Otter?
No, I don't.
Oh, okay.
Not much. I know he's worked on this. I think he's also worked on some of the recent Conan
beautiful.
Destiny issues.
Okay, because he does the lettering as well as the writing. So we got a writer / letterer here.
Well, that's what
Yeah.
the Frenchies do, isn't it?
Well, I would have assumed that the actual artist would do the lettering, to be honest.
So whenever I read these Bond Destiny comics of Elric, whenever like reading through them, like I was excited to get them. What I got was it feels like you're reading a movie of the novellas. That's what it feels like to me. Like some things are shifted around, but I'm like, it's still pretty faithful to the source material.
Yeah, look at that. Now, which story is this, Fred?
So this is an artist edition of the 5th one called The Necromancer.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, this is probably about the probably capturing the stories While the Gods Laugh and the Singing Citadel.
So we see a picture of the city here. I think it's the next page right here. It's not named though.
Does he have Moonglum as a companion?
I haven't read it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Moonglum, especially after the Dreaming City, Moonglum becomes like his main companion.
See, if I ever did like a novella for any of my stuff, this is how I'd want it to look. Or if I did a graphic comic for like any of my stuff, this is how I'd want it to look.
Yeah.
By the way, look at that panel layout.
Which one?
Yeah.
Like in general.
Yeah. This is kind of very classic European in a way.
But unfortunately, each one of those pages is at least $400, if not more.
They're larger than American comics, and they're wider a little bit too. Like it's not the same proportions blown up. It's a little bit larger than it is tall.
It's stupid metric system.
I don't even know if they use metric for the comics. Could be. I mean, we still use.
I'm talking paper science, page science, base
yeah,
science.
it could be. I mean, we still use imperial for for construction and shit like that. So sometimes paper gets imperial as well.
Then there's Otter who went full old school and used cubits.
Well, yeah, that's fucking old school.
Hey, let's put it this way, and it's a pedantic thing too. But I'm like, this is why I'm like whenever they say reading through the Holy Bible is an excellent source of inspiration, like that's precisely where I lifted that from, because you look at the book of Leviticus, the book of Numbers, and how are they measuring everything out? It's through cubits.
Leviticus is a heavy read.
Yeah. Well, it's measuring out the exact dimensions of the Ark of the Covenant.
Yep. And then numbers. Oh wow, so many numbers. It was right up there with all the baguettes. In fact, I think it included a lot of baguettes.
Where's my spaghetti?
I was actually having one beta reader read through my second book. He's like, "Hey, you're using cubits. Use feet instead." I'm like, "Here's the thing. I already used cubits in my first book. I even have a footnote in my glossary about it. No."
Yeah, I had a.
All right, let me guess who it was. Gino.
Nope.
Man behind the screen.
Nope.
Otter, I had someone like better read mine and say he shouldn't use Bitcoin. He should use XRP or something else instead.
Sybil.
Yes.
Okay.
I was surprised you suggested Gino. I figured Gino would be cool with cubits.
That's a pretty badass page right there.
This looks like the baddie up here. He's got fucking
Yeah,
a sword that will rival Guts's. And it's got 2 holes in the side. I don't know what that's used for. Maybe to behead fish while you're fishing or something. But he's got a huge like.
Nah, I can't rival Guts's. Guts has done some cool shit. Yeah.
Yeah, of course, but it,
Let me finish.
I don't know, Billy.
I know Guts is a stupid sword.
This is a cool shot.
Dragon Slayer is cool, but Stormbringer drinks souls.
Yeah, but you know the greatness.
It also does.
Hold up. The greatness of the Dragon Slayer is it's just a fucking hunk of metal. There's actually nothing special about it. That's what makes it great.
I'm tempted to say what happens in Stormbringer, but I won't.
Ooh, her lips are great.
Yeah, no, it makes him kill people.
No, it does more than that.
And then it whispers to him and it says,
It makes fries in 7 different styles.
I'm guessing Herman's read Stormbringer before.
No.
Actually, no. Oh, I'm
Nope.
surprised. That's actually my favorite of all the Elric books.
You know, I think I have some of the Elric. I think I have some of the like an Elric compilation.
hold up, did Elric fight a cloud?
You guys want me to spoil it on stream?
I don't give a shit.
All right.
Spoiler warning to all in the audience.
Spoiler
Na na
warning.
na
for a
na
book-
na 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 na.
Spoiler
We
warning.
need a
for
different
book
warning
that
bell.
is 70 plus years old. All right. Stormbringer. Elric uses Stormbringer to destroy all the world and absorb it into itself. And it finally kills Elric once the world is reborn and everyone is dead and their souls annihilated.
Well, everybody's got to have a hobby.
Its last words to Elric were, farewell, friend, I was 1,000 times more evil than thou.
Yeah, but the Dragon Slayer takes on a literal storm cloud.
Yeah, I don't really think that really compares.
Yes, it does.
But the storm cloud, even though
Stormbringer kills Chaos
Yeah, but it was
Lords.
a really big
No,
storm, man.
technically, wouldn't the sword also kill, like Stormbringer also kill just about every other storm in existence? Just take out the
pretty
entire
much.
world?
It's literally like the
It
very
killed
last
all the
sentence
clouds.
in Stormbringer is it swallows up the world, then it materializes into a human form, flies up into the sky, and is like, so we're in a new world dictated by law. So went the seed of the world's doom.
So it was kind of Galactus from the second Fantastic Four movie.
Kind of, yeah. It's implied that, so this is why I love Stormbringer. Because there are different incarnations of the Eternal Champion, and it's implied that they're all either in alternate universes or cyclical motions of the same universe. It's never really stated. It's intentionally contradictory, and you are not meant to take it too deeply because you will go insane. Stormbringer is showing how that actually goes into motion. It's the end of one world, the beginning of another.
Does it work on someone who's already insane?
Yes, it actually does. Because a theme throughout the series is it's considered a mercy by those who truly know how the world works for Stormbringer to drink their souls, because they know what's coming. The idea is that by the end of their world, chaos begins to take over and things literally become a hellscape. So destroying the world is a mercy by comparison.
Oh, I love a happy ending like that.
Yeah, it's a bit of a heavy conclusion, but that's part of why I really like it.
Grimdark before there was a Grimdark.
Yeah, it's like I said, some of the earlier published Elric stories, they go grimdark a little bit. They're like
think about
Elric.
Grimdark. Grimdark, what came from 40K, I think, and 40K is obviously heavily fucking inspired by Elric. That's where the Chaos Gods came from.
Yeah,
Oh, I think 40K's got a lot of, because I mean, some of that stuff looks very Lovecraftian. So I think it probably came from a lot of different things.
Yeah, they stole
amalgamation over time.
yeah,
But the Chaos
stole
Gods
different
were
lore
Steal a
from,
bit
for
from
different
here, a
factions.
bit from there, take
the
a little
Chaos
bit
Gods
from
were
here.
definitely taken from Elric, that's for sure. And those guys are basically so woven to the core of it.
Well, listen, they stole from everybody, then legally fucking bury everyone else.
People
Who
have
has
actually
anything
pointed
to-
out how the Chaos Lords in Warhammer are similar to two incarnations of the Eternal Champion. The Dukes of Chaos in Elric's saga, and that of Korum's saga. Because people have actually pointed out, Nurgle, that's basically Ariok in the first Corum book, Knight of the Swords. Because what Corum basically does in those books is his goal is to slay the gods, and Ariok is the first one, who is basically just a fat fuck lounging on a bunch of humans who are feeding themselves to him.
Makes sense.
And everybody's like, isn't this just Nurgle? Or isn't Nurgle just Ariok in this story?
Probably.
It's like he's described as absolutely disgusting.
Well, Nurgle's attack in Warhammer is you've got these vomit attacks that he'll do at a distance.
So you know who Nurgle's greatest worshiper is, right?
Who's that?
Asmongold.
the rat
That's a good
alarm.
one. That's a good one.
There's also Ariok, who is Elric's patron, who is a different form of Ariok between Eternal Champions, because it's the same names, the same figures, but their powers fluctuate between...
It's the same name!
Well, Ariok in Elric's world is a lot closer to Khorne. The sayings are even similar, too. In Warhammer, Khorne's saying is blood for the blood god. Elric's saying is blood and souls for my lord Ariok.
What a dick.
Jesus.
Well, that's why I don't mind putting little
there's
nods to things that inspire me in my
Well-
literature from time to time.
Hold the phone. There's one bit where it's objective plagiarism. I've showed it to people who have played the skeptic. I show them this, and they're like, "Okay, you've got a point." It's the chaos symbol. The chaos symbol between Warhammer and Michael Moorcock's books are the exact same.
There you go. I mean, can't get any more blatant than that. It's the fucking symbol.
Yep,
The
it's
fictional
8 arrows pointing in a radial direction.
Oh, okay, yeah, I see.
Then we got Witcher with Elric.
Yeah.
Yep.
But,
We are starting to run short on time. We still wanted to talk about signs, and we wanted to talk about D&D. But it looks
Oh,
like
yeah.
we got time to do one of them. So
All right,
Otter, I
Otter.
think you were pretty revved up for D&D discussion, weren't you?
Technically, I'm revved up for both because I'm the one who kind of brought up both.
Let's go signs. We hardly have a signs discussion.
I like Signs. It's a flawed movie. Yeah, the twist at the end is dumb, but I like it.
I don't think it's as dumb compared to other things that I've seen.
I've seen Shyamalan twists that are far, far worse.
I mean, yeah, they are. For me, what ruined the twist, and I've spoken of this, it was basically the whimsicalness that surrounded the twist. The bad writing of Swing Away, the daughter being sidekick and leaving glasses everywhere. It's just not. You can do better.
Yeah, it's my big criticism against it is it's heavy-handed. I know what Shyamalan was going for because aliens in that movie are depicted like demons.
Yeah,
and
they're supposed to
that's
represent
supposed to be-
fallen angels and holy water. And
Yup. It's heavy-handed, and I'm like, that's one knock against it. Two, scientifically speaking, it's not established that water is something that would harm them. I know they say, oh, they don't like water, but I'm like,
He literally
the thing,
throws
they
a
need-
glass of water on him.
here's the
They're
thing, they
actually
need to
fatty
establish
acids.
more than that.
Like,
One,
I don't know how much more that you need established than they throw a glass of water.
well, they literally say water in the.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
do
on the
say they
radio.
do. Yeah, they do mention it in the radio. So I mean, it's not like it came out of nowhere.
Right. There's still holes in it though, like rain, that's one, snow.
Before the stream, me and James were talking a little bit about it.
What if it was just the fluoride?
They needed, yeah, that'd be fun. They should have just. He could have just changed it to they were wearing suits and the suit gets fucking damaged and then they throw the water.
Well, there's more you can pick apart about the actual aliens. I actually think the logistics of the aliens is the most flawed part of the writing in the movie. It's not just the water bit, it's the fact that they can't get through doors. I'm like, thematically, I know why it's a thing. Logically, I'm like, this is stupid.
You think they would be able to get through a door? It's a door.
Like Scary Movie 3 poked fun at in the movie are all valid criticisms. It's
What
like,
him?
oh,
What Charlie Sheen?
Yeah.
Ignoring the fact that his wife doesn't want him to fuck any other lady after she dies.
well, it's them making just the off joke. It's like, wait, these guys can like travel like light years through space. They've mastered space travel, but they can't get through a simple door.
Did it
Yeah.
establish that they came through spaceships in the movie? I don't remember.
Yeah, there's
They
actual
did.
like flying saucers.
Oh.
I
that
guess
go
to
over
only fix that. I say only fix.
Well, hold
that.
up. To be fair, they might have like TikTok brain and they like regress to like retardation if the door
That's-
doesn't open.
I mean,
Like-
kind
you
of.
probably had
like,
those plastic child-proof things over the knobs.
Yeah.
No, like what if their entire society just had like motion-controlled doors, and then that's what they were just raised with. It's been forever since they had doors that didn't manually
Here's
open.
the thing, like there are ways I think the writing for the aliens could have worked better, but I think they would have had to establish more in the
Yeah.
script and what like the kids are actually explaining from that book.
Yeah, and that's also another thing I'll point. The book, the random ass book they pick up in random ass library, got to be right about absolutely everything. But besides that, one thing I do like is you don't necessarily learn much about the aliens, except that for which the family learns. Whatever the family knows, you know. Anything
Well-
they don't know, you don't necessarily know.
I think this is one thing that Signs really has going for it. It's a case where it's like you have good but very flawed writing in a lot of ways, very flawed, but the direction is what saves it. The movie direction is like top notch. Like you've got a lot of like
I heard
frame
a fan theory that
perspective
was trying
shots.
to make the aliens work.
What is it?
I heard a fan theory that they were trying to make the whole aliens thing make sense. And the theory is they were left here on Earth as a punishment.
So that is actually a valid theory. I've heard that too. It's like the one they encountered is just a straggler. Like the rest of them have pretty much left by that point.
It's like you
But-
done messed
but even
up.
so-
Leaving you with the humans in the water.
It's like I do like the thing that's established in the movie. It's like they didn't come to invade Earth. It's like they were coming to like take away humans.
Yeah.
small thing, but it's actually like talked about whenever they're waking up. They're hearing the radio.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, okay, that's cool. I like that. It kind of
Oh,
makes
that's
you want to
good.
learn more about what happened.
But that's also
Yeah.
why the they were left here as punishment thing doesn't work, because they kept going up in the ships and.
Well,
Well, I always thought that it was like, I say always thought, but I think the one that fits more is like maybe their society. And this is sort of just writing for the writers, so it's theory. I always thought more that their society may have on the brink of collapse. Or
That's what
maybe
I've
they're
heard
out on
too.
their own, and then they come across this planet with some resources they could use. It's kind of dangerous down there, but we don't have much choice. We need to go over there, get us some humans, and feed the children.
It's that, and it's also actually stated in the movie. It's like they left in a hurry, like to the
Yeah.
point where they were leaving their wounded behind.
Yeah.
Like
Now,
they were basically like, "Oh shit, we got to get out of here."
one big
It's either a move of desperation or they didn't know what they were actually dealing with.
Or they went to London and they went, holy fuck, it won't stop raining.
London is fine. London's okay.
right.
Or they went to Siberia and they're like, oh my god, the promised hell land is true. Frozen
Yeah,
water.
a lot of places would be left untouched, really.
And
But a big thing that Billy brought up, which I'm also going to bring up, is they probably should have been wearing suits, much like myself.
yeah, they really should have.
Should have had some suits on.
Like here's the
In
thing, that
general,
would
the
actually-
idea that they're not using hardly any technology aside from flying saucers, I'm like, okay, like they would have some form of technology they'd be using either as firearms
They would at
or as
least have
like,
a Swiss Army knife.
Wait.
Unless their society was in that bad of a shape.
Hold up, I'm confused. Why didn't they use the tractor beam to pick up the cow and sling it at the door to break it down?
Did they have a tractor beam?
no,
What's wrong
They
with
didn't
that,
use it.
Otter? Huh?
no.
They should have definitely had some sort of.
Yeah,
I
like
mean,
I
you
said,
love the scene
they-
where they're like, we can't figure out this technology. We just throw a cow at it.
Yeah, they could have locked down photon torpedoes.
Yeah.
See, I think if you look at Signs as like an alien invasion movie first, you can argue with good points that it's a bad movie. Like I think that's where a lot of the talking points for Signs comes from, where they say it's a bad movie. It's if you look at it as an alien invasion movie first, yeah, it doesn't work very well. If you look at it from as more of like a character drama and as a horror movie, it works way better. Like that's really what the movie's going for, in my opinion.
A
They could
fake.
also just change it to be like a random aliens. Like it wasn't an actual invasion either.
Well, here's the
Yeah.
thing. There's a video out there about how Signs and The Happening, and there's one other movie, are all related to the same events. That the Signs where they
Village
actually
movie?
invaded and it was a failure. That in order to conquer the Earth, they
talked to the plants.
No, actually, it wasn't the plants, and it was a mistake, and that was a misdirection. That it wasn't the plants at all. That it was something in the atmosphere that was causing it, and was being spread by the winds. Or
I
something
know
along
that,
those lines.
you probably could say most, if not all, his earlier movies were in the same universe.
Because there was a connect, because they pointed out that it didn't really have anything to do with the trees.
Okay.
Because he pointed out inconsistencies in the actual how people died.
Okay.
So it's like their emotions or something. They somehow learned to develop something to use their emotions against them, or something like that.
I can say Shyamalan does actually do a really great job at a kind of almost like I'd say I'm gonna call it the Marvel formula before it kind of came out, and that was at the end of all his movies, everything kind of just reset back to zero. Like the event happened, people died, but everything just sort of reset back to zero. The aliens are gone. The disease.
Meanwhile,
is just
Bruce
gone,
Willis's
disappeared.
character is walking around just fine.
He also has to have a twist in his movies, and I think a lot of the time it actually worked against him. Signs is a great example of that. The Village is also a great example of that.
The Village, I think, was also marketed completely incorrectly. It was more of like just a love story.
I think the twist for the village is a lot worse than the twist for Signs, just because it's like, here's the thing, like the twist for Signs, it's like, yeah, you can argue the aliens are being really dumb about it, but it's like the core conflict of the movie, it doesn't really affect it all that much. All it's really giving them is a way to actually get an edge over the aliens. In the village, it's like, oh yeah, you kind of learn that everything's a lie. They're basically in this very cultish society. Then the main characters just decide to do nothing.
Yeah.
I
don't
actually
think
think that's a lot worse.
I forgot most of that movie, to be honest.
Like, there's good parts to that movie. If it wasn't for the twist, I would have liked the movie. I just wanted there to be actual monsters in it.
Yeah, I kind of liked that movie. And, you know,
there's good parts to it.
I mean, the twist, I kind of understood the twist because it was these people were trying to get away and they wanted to go back to something simpler and away from modern society and something simpler, to a simpler time. And they wanted their kids, they wanted their future generations to not know anything about the outside world because it's so horrible and so awful. So I kind of get all of that,
Well,
and I see.
wrong.
Well, like I say, it's the marketing. Everybody wanted to see some monsters when it came out.
The problem also is just that it doesn't affect what the main character does. I think it's the ending that kills that movie, because it's like, if it changed what the characters did at the end of the movie, I would have been a lot better with it, because it's like, even if they were hatching like an escape plan at the end of the movie, I would have been more satisfied than them just saying, "Oh, time to get some medicine for my wounded boyfriend. Time to go back. All right, let's forget everything."
You know, what would have been actually a better ending is if they give her like something that literally wipes her memory, and she's all like, "Oh, well, we need to go out there. We need to communicate." He's like, "Yeah, absolutely, for sure. We'll talk here. Drink this."
Adrian Brody did a great job, though.
This is another thing I'll say about the ending of Signs. It's like, technically it kind of resets, but there's some small... This is one thing I really like about that movie, and this is something that The Sixth Sense did very well as well, is like subtle visual storytelling that you can miss.
Yeah.
Signs has it where it's like there's no spoken dialogue after the big thing happens at the end. It gives you like about half a minute to a minute's worth of like a panning viewpoint, and that's it. But it tells you everything you need to know about what happened. It's like Graham is a reverend again. There's been a passage of time. Everything seems a lot more peaceful. It's snowing. It's like it's a resolution, and it doesn't even have to say anything.
Yeah,
and
that's
I do
why
like how the whole thing contributed to restoring his faith.
Yeah, like that.
Secret Christian movie.
Yeah, that it kind of is actually. I wish the
a lot of
science
movies
part
are
of it was a bit
accidentally
better.
that. A lot of movies are accidentally that.
I wish the science part of the movie was a bit better, but the actual like character and faith parts of the movie, those are really strong in the movie, and they feel very genuine too. Like I think those are the real strengths of the movie.
I believe most of his movies, at least his earlier ones that he wrote and produced, are all in the exact same universe. It's all happening one event after the other.
Dude, whenever the dude was at his prime, Shyamalan could also write some really heart-wrenching scenes. Sixth Sense and Signs and Unbreakable all have them in there.
Oh yeah, I mean Unbreakable. What was magnificent about that is it was a literal comic book movie. Like he would look at the way that they'd frame comic book panels, and he'd try to recreate them.
Yeah,
and that was beautiful, and he did a great fucking job too.
Let's see.
That
Sixth
sounds
Sense
interesting. I'll have to look at that. Unbreakable, you say? Like
Unbreakable. Have you seen that one?
And
It's
no
a very
way.
good movie.
Biggest features, they had Sam Jackson doing this big presentation of the history of comic books or something like that.
Yeah, because Samuel Jackson plays like a like a high-end comic book collector.
Oh, no,
What?
spoilers.
That's literally the beginning of the movie. It's
All
all
right.
I say.
All right, I'm sold.
Yeah, it's a good
Have you not
movie.
You
watched
need to
Unbreakable?
watch it, man.
It's literally comic books are at the heart of it.
So, okay, Frederick, the main dude is a superhero. Like, right? He wears
Okay.
a trench coat and shit. His kryptonite is water.
Motherfucker, just shut up. You say I'm the one spoiling it. You're giving
That's
away
not
so much.
spoiling it.
You don't learn that till a ways through.
No, you
Here,
learned that.
go
at
watch the
very-
movie. Go watch
You
the movie.
learned that at the beginning.
So,
watch the
Frederick,
movie.
how many Shyamalan movies have you seen?
Not a lot. Like last thing I saw of him was his series. I think it was on HBO.
Okay, because so you haven't seen The Sixth Sense, Unbreakable, or Signs or
I've just
anything?
seen shots of The Sixth Sense, and I've heard talk about it so much that I feel like I know it. I may have seen it back in the day, but it's just
Okay,
Yeah.
so there is a part of me that kind of fanboys a little bit over his older movies just because he has a very particular style with his movies.
mhm.
I think I heard Roger Ebert describe it is that he directs quiet movies. Characters are very like they're kind of like introverted, keeping to themselves, but it creates a very distinct mood that really works when it wants to say something.
Interesting. Yeah, that's a skill in itself.
Okay, so here's the thing. Somebody took a look at the 3 M. Night Shyamalan movies, Signs, which is number 1, The Happening, which is number 2, and the third one was After Earth.
Oh,
Oh.
And and
After
he's-
Earth. I'm not
So
familiar
the
with that
aliens came back and got the job done.
yeah, that's essentially what is being proposed there, that the aliens came back and finished the job, and that some other humans decided to come back or something along those lines.
Interesting.
Wasn't After
So-
Earth the Will Smith movie with the son?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really bad one.
I remember actually watching a Nostalgia Critic video talking about that movie. There is one point there is one bit in the movie that he does point out where I'm like, yeah, that's a bit weird. It's like, was it like Jaden is just asking, he's like, can I have some water or something? And Will Smith just goes, denied, sit down, Lieutenant, or something like that.
You know what made that movie worse? They were like, we're gonna make a completely unique accent, and it sounds terrible.
Like,
That-
this is
Really
kind of
did.
my
Yeah,
opinion.
I do like that they tried to go for it, but it didn't work.
This is kind of my opinion. I think the last Shyamalan movie that had any of his old magic in it, and it's a very, very flawed movie, is Lady in the Water. That movie has some stupid shit in it, but there is a bit of magic in there too.
Yeah, it's more. Yeah, you're right. It's more whimsical.
I actually like it. I know it's bad. I like it, and it does make me laugh at parts I'm not supposed to laugh. But it's, to me, I always watch it as like a dramedy, a fantastical dramedy.
Like a lot of Shyamalan's movies have some indulgent bits in it. Like Signs, the indulgent bit is, aside from the water, is that like the character that Shyamalan plays is the veterinarian who ends up like accidentally running over the Reverend's wife, basically starting everything in the movie. And
Oh yeah, I actually didn't mind Split. I believe that was the movie. It's called Split.
yeah, Split was pretty good. I like Split.
Yes, and the ending twist actually hit pretty good, which was that Split was in the Unbreakable universe.
Yeah, it was
What's the twist?
it
And
was a misdirected sequel to Unbreakable.
Yes, and the sequel, the first 2 acts I enjoyed. The third act, just nah. I'm sorry.
They had him die in a fucking puddle.
Yeah,
A literal
enjoyed the
puddle.
sequel. I enjoyed the first half of that sequel. It was nice to see the 3 characters together, but then once the third act started unfolding, it just didn't land.
I never watched Glass. I've heard
Glass,
some
okay.
very mixed things about
The
that
first
movie.
2 acts are good, I think, because there's a lot of great character moments between the various characters, all 3 in the exact same area. None of them drop the ball on the character side. And I think for that, it's probably worth checking out at least the first half.
I will also say this: Unbreakable is kind of a special movie because this was a superhero movie that came out before superhero movies had truly taken off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's why I never heard of it.
Yeah, it was an early superhero film.
Wait, you've never heard of it?
No, I don't think so.
Where the fuck are
Yeah,
you?
I mean, to
I
be fair-
really recommend it, man.
to
I
be
think
fair,
you'll really
like-
like it.
This was before Signs, and Signs was the one that really put him on the map. And a lot of people I know haven't heard of this movie just because Signs really overshadows it.
Well, Sixth Sense was his breakout
Sixth
movie.
Sense,
That-
mine,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
that one, Sixth Sense, not Signs.
Yes, I heard about Sixth Sense, of course.
Yeah, but
Anyways,
I forget if Unbreakable came out before the X-Men films or not. I'm trying to think.
It may have.
It was somewhere around the same time as the X-Men films, maybe a little before, maybe a little after. I'm not entirely sure. But
Yeah,
it's
it's,
kind of funny how that movie's like, it's very like subdued in the superhero bits until the end when it starts coming along. It's like they're not punching through buildings or anything like that, but they're still doing superhero stuff. And like you actually do feel it by the end of the movie, which is kind of funny whenever you get like the later superhero movies coming along where it's like they are punching bad guys through buildings and everything.
Yeah, like then that's what makes this one particularly great, and it's very much an origin story as well. And it's down to earth. You believe it. It's very gritty, and just how the powers are unveiled slowly. The character comes to realization, and he tests things along the way. Everything within that movie just is perfectly paced. The acting is great. The characters are great. The writing is damn good. And at the end, it's like, whoa, freaking great. Didn't see any of that coming.
In other words, watch it, Frederick.
Yeah, watch it, Frederick.
Yeah, I mean, my friend who I don't know just shared it with me, and I've got a copy. So.
Oh, nice.
anyways, it's time to wrap this up.
Right?
Yeah, I'll leave that. I'll leave that video.
Yeah. Send it this way. I actually want to check it
Yeah,
out.
I'll put it in the private chat.
So,
check it
Otter,
out.
why don't you start us out?
Well, I am nearly finished with book 2. I'm going through final polishes as we speak. Nearly finished with the first pass. I'm going to give it 1 to 2 more passes before I'm calling it officially done. And then it's probably going to be another month until it is released proper. So be on the lookout for my second book. I'll also be releasing a trailer here relatively soon. Someone who might also be in the stream may be behind it. Hint, hint, wink, wink.
I make trailers for people.
In the meantime, if you want to find out what the Otter does, you can follow me on Twitter. I am the Lord Otter, of course. I ship post. I talk about athletic boobs, and I also post Otter memes because that's what I do. I also have a book called The Curse of the Star Raids. So if you like swords and sorcery, brotherhood, some weird magic, some high fantasy, I think you'll like it. Check it out.
Nice.
Kind of looks like this.
Herman.
Buy my book, which is the
my
Revenant
God.
and the Cult Book 2. Available, well, everywhere except Audible. Bastards.
Is it at Walmart?
Bastards.
Yeah, actually, it is at Walmart. You can buy because it's I go wide. You can get the ebook at Kobo, which is Walmart. I don't know if you can get the paperback though, but paperback you can only get at Amazon. You can also get it at Barnes and Noble, but got to be careful because Barnes and Noble has pulled my other 2 paperbacks because I think nobody's been buying them. That being said, if you go to my website www.hphunterwriter.com, there is a store menu item there, and that will take you to my Square store. So you'll be able to buy a book there, and the book comes signed, comes with bookmark. Or actually, if you buy more books, each book comes with its own bookmark, and they all come signed. So if you want my books, you don't want to go through Amazon, you can buy them on my store.
So yeah, if you guys buy enough books, right next to the H.P. Lovecraft section in the fiction shelves, you'll find H.P. Hunter, of course.
Yeah, right. Maybe an Elric's universe.
Frederick, oui.
Yeah, so got both here. If we could switch the camera.
Come on, Grandpa, do it.
All right, never mind. imakecomics.com. That'll take you to Rattel Comic, where you can see the progress on the comic book. I'm almost done. I just finished the first draft of the lettering today, and the scripting and lettering. Here are the books we were just mentioning. And done with the lettering. Halfway done with the inking, finishing that up, and I've got my colorist working on the early pages. You can see samples of that and get a little bit of a summary on rattelcomic.com. So check it out. We'll be coming out in about, I don't know, I'll be on Iron Seas in about a month and a half. And about that time, I'll start launching the campaign. So maybe around the same time as Otter will be doing his. So check it out.
James.
Hell, you can find me in space at Pugtopia, where I write up a bunch of short stories I release on my Substack, A World Without End, lore.substack.com. Released one for my premium subscribers just 2 days ago, and that'll be going up for everybody near the first of the month. I'll be releasing one short story every month, and I'll probably be picking up pace soon because I got a pretty good I guess you'd call it writing flow down. That's allowing me to really start releasing at a faster pace. So that's going to be really excited. Follow me at worldwithoutendlore.substack.com.
Nice.
Pug.
Frequency.
Yeah, you can find my stuff on Amazon.com, Haley Star Bad Kitty, and Bad Kitty Haley's World. You also follow me on Substack under Frequency Studios, as well as the X Twitter, Minds, Blue Sky, and Truth Social.
Nice.
All under Frequency Studios.
And Kaplaw.
You're probably the only guy I know who has a Truth Social and a Blue Sky. I mean, you're the only guy I know who has a Blue Sky, period, but, you know.
Yeah, both.
Well, lefties buy books too.
Exactly. You're going everywhere.
Here's the thing, though. Do they identify as guys?
Don't know, don't care.
Identify as lefties.
Yeah. No, I don't talk to people here.
That's right.
All right. Well, I guess we'll be calling it a night. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us tonight. If you enjoyed this presentation, hit the like. And if you didn't, appreciate you stopping by. We'll see you next time. And God bless. And I'm in the wrong spot. Dang it.
Check us out tomorrow on Proof of Comics.
Sorry for
My
the
channel.
delay. Don't worry. It's coming. It's coming.
Jewish space laser.
About freaking time.
Squeak.
Good night, everybody.
I am a water weasel.